That's it. There you go, JP. You remind me of Dave. Out of Dad and Dave. There you go, JP. All right, Dad. Just kidding. Sound more like Myrtle. I don't know what I've done here. What have I done here? Ooh, he's looking at the table. There you go. Still warm here, but it was cold this morning, mate. 13 degrees. Jeez. Now, 20, 21. Not too bad. Got my dressing gown on. 21's pretty cool for us. Yes, I enjoyed that steak, mate. Oh, just milked. I'm angry Swans lost to the Crows. I get very emotional, but the TV is still sitting on the wall, so it's not all bad. Yeah, it's only a game, mate. We're the Eagles. West Coast Eagles. Champions. I was very pleased last year when the Eagles won because I thought they were a team 2-3 years away from probably winning, but everything just gelled. The right players. Yeah, F stands for Fantastic Eagles, JP. I was in Sydney for 2 grand finals of the Eagles and Swans. The first one, we lost by 1 point. The second one, we won by 1 point. I was screaming at you, little beauty. Whole street was dead. Previous year, raw, yeah, deathly quiet. It's a good game of footy, above everything else. Yeah, it was a good rivalry. Long gone are those days. I think 2 different types of teams. I mean, the only reason the Eagles really won last year was because one man. Got to be brutally honest here. Jeremy McGovern. He's like a wall of, like the Berlin Wall. You can't get past him. So he really lifted the season for the Eagles. And he was injured on the last 3 games, but kept playing. Quite remarkable. I don't know what to make of the Swans. I hate to start so early, not even in April, end of March, by saying there's a wooden spoon on the cards for the Swans. I don't know. What did they lose by tonight? That'll tell me a bit more. Because I hate to tell you, I don't think much of the Crows. They've lost McGovern themselves, and they're not looking that good. But they beat the Swans. I haven't looked at the footy. I don't watch a lot of footy now, to be honest, but I'd be interested to know what the Swans lost by. JP, I just said, what was the scores between the Crows and the Swans? Yeah. I mean, not being mean, but I don't rate the Swans that high for this year. But I didn't rate the Adelaide any better. I thought the Swans would beat Adelaide for sure. Though they've got a fairly good midfield, the Crows, but they haven't got much else. Got to be honest there. Eddie can only go on for so long. And the Eagles lost their first game. They play here this week. They won't lose that one. But they did the same last year. I think they lost the first 3. Come thundering home. If there's any Americans there, you have no idea what we're talking about for sure. I think if you put the Sydney Swans and the West Coast Eagles together, they've had an extraordinary 20 years. They'd be the top teams, I imagine, really. In a literal sense, they've taken under bacon on several occasions, both of them. More often than not, we have, though. Don't want to rub it in, JP. Last year was a bonus. Like I say, I thought we were 2 or 3 years away, but McGovern just stopped everything. So the best way to win a game of any sport is to defend, not attack. It goes for basketball, footy, soccer, you name it. If you defend well, you stop anyone scoring, you only have to score a little bit. changing your tune now, mate. I don't know whether to take you for Reggie Didge. I like the Eagles now, he says. Yeah, no, like I say, I thought they were a fair team. I'd have put them in the top 6 last year, but didn't think they'd go all the way through, so it was a big bonus. And the biggest bonus for me, mate, is I hate Collingwood. So to imagine we won the flag beating Collingwood. Poor old Eddie Maguire. Yeah, Eddie, if you're listening, fuck you. We kicked your ass. Like I say, if any Americans are listening to this, they won't get it. We name all our sporting teams after animals. Do you know that, JP? Every team in Australia is an animal of some sort. Except one of the AFL teams. They're evil. They're called the Demons. Yeah, no, I can't stand the Pies. It's probably not the Pies that don't stand, it's their followers. They're mad as cut snakes, mate. They're absolute, not all there. There were several sheep gone missing many years ago in their paddock. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to go, mate. Suns and the Giants in particular, I mean, they seem more of a commercial operation than a heartfelt supporters clubs. And I'm not being mean, but that's fact. They're relatively new to the competition. Money backed by commercial dollars, and the crowds that they get up there are not real flash, mate. You come to WA and the stadium's full all the time. You go to Melbourne, they're full. Sydney, I've been to the Sydney Cricket Ground watching Swans games, and it's a big stadium. Actually, we went right at the back one day. It's like the Coliseum. You look down, it's like, are those football players or ants? Good game, though. It's good to go to a live game. Any sport, I suppose, but the way they build our stadiums like a cauldron, the roar is mighty. Hear that, guy gets the ball and he goes down the wing, bounces 2 or 3 times. The roar of the crowd follows him. And if a goal's kicked, he's like, woof, takes off the roof. So what'd you have for dinner tonight, mate? I suffered through having a lowly piece of steak myself. Oh, you got to go to the G, mate. You got to go to the Melbourne Cup. You got to go to the G. Mind you, the final tickets, I think the cheapest you get's about $250, mate. So listen to your radio station near the end of the season, see if you can get a couple of cheap ones. Homemade hamburger, sounds good. Imagine an American walking into your house or mine and we make them a hamburger and put on a couple of slices of beetroot. They go, what's that? What the fuck is that stuff? Beetroot. We love it. I can eat a whole jar of beetroot, no problem at all. Just open up the jar, particularly those little baby ones you get, pile them down. Pickled beets. We like them on our hamburgers. We had a Canadian friend of mine that years ago come over and he's sitting there pulling out this, what's this thing? I said, it's beetroot, mate, try it. He said, I'm not eating that shit. It's got blood on it. I said, no, that's beetroot. I don't think the North Americans eat a lot of beetroot, JP. Gotta have beetroot. It's like I don't think they're keen on slices of red onion, because my normal burger would be lettuce, beetroot, cheese, red onion, and if I've made any homemade pickles, throw them in. But no, the Yanks don't like beetroot. It's like a no-no. I don't know why. Don't know why that. I mean, they eat other pickles. They eat jalapenos. They eat pickled cucumbers. No, I don't need to go on MasterChef. I just like cooking, mate. Yeah, it was the thing about a good steak. You don't have to do much. It's not much to do. It's when you get the cheaper cuts of beef, you've got to be more creative, like braise them or gently stir fry little thin strips of cheaper cuts of meat. But when you get a prime ribeye, or in this case an eye fillet, you just salt and pepper, whack it in a hot pan. But that is the secret. A hot pan. I mean a smoking pan. You want to seal the bugger, seal it again, and it's okay. Like you'll get connoisseurs say you must only turn a steak once. Up your bum. If you need to turn it, I add a bit of butter in my pan halfway through and Get that little nutty flavour through it as well. But mate, it just sliced up. And when I took a mouthful, it went melted. Probably would have paid, I got that at half price. It was 15 something and I got it for $7. But in a restaurant, that'd have been a $40 steak. Without a doubt. Easy. Or here anyway. I don't know what it'd be like in the US, but that's what it would cost here. And I think that was about 10 or 12 ounces of steak. And I ate the lot. I like steak nearly on its own like that. I cooked up a bit of fancy sliced carrot on an angle and some green beans and cooked them in a little butter. And that was the only accompaniment I had with it. But you don't need to add much to that. Hello 180. It's like, I actually like just things like chuck steak or stewing steak, and I'll slow cook it. Man, that's good. I love my beef stews. I really love my beef stews. And the cheaper cuts of meat have more flavour for sure. You know, if you could cook it with ribeye, but it'd get a bit too tight. Doesn't open up and flex and relax, a bit like the cheaper cuts. I've got to have my coffee. Because the missus say, you didn't drink your coffee again. Too busy talking to JP. It's going to get cold here shortly for sure. No one is here, so what was your old name? It's doing my head in. My old name was Seeds to Freedom, just like it is now. I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't have any other accounts, just this one. Well, it certainly does, mate. Cold weather for me brings on curries, stews, soups. We're going to make a big bone broth up shortly, and I'll freeze most of it because we're going away. But that bone broth, probably about a litre each container I'll put in the freezer. But when I come home, that'll be the start of my stews and whatever. 180, I know him. I don't even know what you're going on about. If you ask him what my previous name was, it was Seeds to Freedom. I've never changed. Never had more than one channel. So if I troll you, it's just me.
Who's saying you're trolling?
Oh, no, someone's saying what was my previous name, and I'm thinking, there isn't a previous name. Aussies tend to be, and JP's an Aussie too, he'd back me up here, e-beggars. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't like e-beggars at all. But we tend to tell people to get fucked in their face. I won't go to someone's channel. I'll say, I'm just using you as a metaphor. I say, 180, get fucked. That's how we do it in Australia. We don't pussyfoot around. Your previous name, 180, was e-beggars. Really? Oh, hello, e-beggars. Are you the one with that website that I saw years ago? If that's the one. I remember that site. I went there a couple of times. It's a bit boring after a while. Same shit, different day, wasn't it? I don't mind people getting money. They need it. And they deserve it. But if they're lying, and they're full of shit, and they're deceptive, fuck them. You can drop subtle hints to people. Like there was that Tasha lady, I suppose we call her. I dropped a little hint in a comment. And I said, you know, you sound you're really pissed off. But what you could do, any of those videos that you were in with that man in the can, you can have them taken down. And if he doesn't take them down, this is just my advice, you can give him a strike. Many ways to skin a cat. Savvy? Oh, that's Johnny Depp's Savvy, isn't it? Hello, Danny. Did you like me a bit of meat, Danny? I mean, mistake. Don't take that. Hello, I'm going to do a mama bear. Lord, make sure Danny gets a nice piece of meat today and makes it nice and yummy. I like when people talk about me. I don't talk about you. I'm doing it now. I'm going to give you a bit of therapy. Hello, 180. I'm talking about you. If you could just drop another $2.99 for every minute we speak, I can continue. Yeah, I don't get that expensive steak all the time. I got that because it was a bargain. Seriously. And, Mrs. Seeds is craving these bit of Mrs. Seeds. There you go.
Oh no, hang on, I've got to go get me thing on.
What thing?
Put the camera back on.
All right, she's got a surprise for JP.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have to. No one has to call my name out. I don't care. Couldn't give a rat's ass. I've been monetised for a very long time, extraordinary amount of long time, and I've never asked for any money, and I don't stick up super chat. It's there. I don't do it. Actually, there's not 180. There's usually, it's the same in real life. There are about 5% of people in real life and online who are totally fucked in the head. How should we put that gently? No, it's easier to say totally fucked in the head. Mental health issues affect about 15% of the population. That means you can have varying degrees of mental health issues. But there are about 5% that are real nasty. The rest are pretty good. All right, they're just normal people. I don't look at names in a side chat or a comment section and think, oh, I'm better than them. I just treat them as if they were people in a room. And when you find out who the nutcases are, you just go, block. He's gone. I don't put up with them. I don't tolerate. I give people enough rope. I don't do it on the first instance. I'll listen and go, oh, a bit of a dick. And then you find after a couple of weeks it's the same. No, he's gone. I don't have to deal with it. I do exactly what I would do in real life that a lot of people can't do online. They remove them from their life. Online, they've got to go, oh, I hate him, I want to block him, but I want to know what he's saying. No such thing as a bully, 180. No such thing as a bully.
Yes, there is.
I can prove it to you if you like.
There is.
Well, there's not, because you can remove yourself from the situation. If you allow a bully to bully you,
Well, there you go.
the bully's not a nice person, but if you allow it to keep occurring, you're the problem.
That's right. But at the end of the day, you also have got to stick up for yourself and put these bullies
I agree.
in their place.
But then you let them go. It's like Rex Hunt. You kiss the fish and you fuck him back in the water. Get in there.
Or they never learn.
No, they're not going to learn. The narcissistic people who just want to dominate, try and control, will keep niggling it away as long as you keep biting. Stop biting. It annoys the shit out of them. You can, 180, I'll give you the best example of why it's futile. How many of these people that don't like you, there could be many, I don't know, but many of these people that don't like you, are you ever going to meet in real life? Just put the number in text for me, I'm interested. Let's say there's 100 people that don't like 180. Tell me, of that 100, how many of them are you going to meet in real life? So if you're never ever going to meet them, they're inconsequential. They're irrelevant. They have no bearing on your life, unless you allow it to happen online. And 180, that would be your problem. Just remove them. There are many ways to do it with the mechanisms that you've got on hand online. You can leave the area. You don't have to visit those certain hangouts if you don't want to. I don't. It's like Dave. I don't hate Dave or Becca at all. I just can't be bothered with the nonsense. And I've told him straight to his face, that's it. I don't like drama, particularly when it's pretentious, bullshit, misleading and lies. I don't like drama. Yeah, it could be fun. I just can't be bothered with the bullshit, 180, at all. And I don't have to. I will go and listen to channels that I can have a yak with, talk about stuff I'm interested in. Do I want to rehash every day the same shit about the same people and get nowhere? Would that back cover at 180? There are channels that do just that. I can come back in a year's time and I'll be going into that chat thinking, oh, I've listened, and oh, fuck, it's exactly the same when I left. No, can't be bothered. Exactly, that's choice. 180, we have a choice to go where and speak to whom we ever like. I don't dislike anyone. I do not like e-beggars. You're probably well aware of that. I've been fighting the bastards for a decade. Don't misunderstand me. I don't dislike Dave or Becca. And I've said to him, I said, you're a bit like a plastic gangster. Dave's the guy that walks into the room with a balloon behind his back and everyone's quiet, and then he pricks it. Everyone jumps. And then he tells ghost stories. And it's plastic gangster stuff. I mean, he's probably a nice guy. But if you're going to make people jump and get nervous and whatever, and you get a reaction, if you're a shit stirrer like Dave, you're going to keep doing it, aren't you? Does that make him a bad person? Don't know. Depends if you're on the receiving end or not. In reality, it's mainly... I don't dislike Vinny at all. I just don't go there. He has bergs up there and I can't stand that. Bergs.
We listen or watch when he's...
I watch when he goes driving. The missus watches him driving around, chasing roos at night.
We watch that. It's not that we don't go there.
Has JP seen your head just
No,
yet?
it's one.
Are you ready, JP?
Do you like this, JP? See, it keeps my ears warm. This is what I'm taking to England. I'm going to walk around in England with on. See if Seeds will walk with me. I might take this off, you don't know.
Yeah, I don't care. Who's that? JP, oh.
Yeah. It'll keep my ears warm. Pretty cat ears.
When you get back, you could post that to JP and you could put underneath his tracky ducks and have a little bit of the unicorn sticking up.
Oh, stop it.
So he could really impress the women.
Yep, so I'm going to walk around Europe like this. If it's cold enough. So it keeps my ears nice and warm. Yes, yes, unicorns do exist. Unicorns and rainbows. There you go.
I actually sell little bags of unicorn breath. $19.99 free postage. Please inquire within.
Oh dear. Gotta have a laugh. I had them on earlier today when Seeds was doing his sausage cam.
They were good sausages.
Yes.
Butcher.
Yes, very nice.
I'm not sure whether he's German, the actual bloke. I think he might be.
Oh, they just tasted good. Yes, and Seeds has got a boring old beanie that he's taking.
I'm smart. I know what the beanie's going to do for me. Keep my ears warm, keep the wind off my face. Pull it down a bit further, rubber bank. They'll never know it's me.
Yeah, that's cute. I'll be a hit. What are you going to tell people? I'll walk around with you that I was let out for the day.
No, I just people will come up to you and say, "It's all right, mate. I'm a carer." It's a day out for her, you know.
This with my odd socks. Yeah, I've got it made. My wardrobe's done. But you'll be laughing if you have cold ears.
I've got a woolen beanie. I'm not going to get cold.
Yeah, but
I've got a jacket with a hoodie. In fact, I'm probably going to
I don't know,
start
it'll look
singing and rap because I'm going to look like that. Yo.
Oh dear.
Yo.
Rational live streams are always a nice change. Yeah, I suppose they are 180, but sometimes we're not rational. If you hadn't been on the earlier live chat, Seeds was stripping.
I took my dressing gown off. Don't get them excited, dear. They've not got enough money.
You'll have to go watch the other one.
No, they don't.
Does the hood have a fur lining?
I'm not sure.
No, no.
Yeah,
no.
but the woolen beanie is a liner.
Yeah, but you want to see this beanie.
We're not going to the Antarctic, we're going to the UK.
His beanie's got a pom-pom on it. So you're talking about my ears.
Someone just stole me Harley, did you hear that?
Put it on, go on.
Oh, jeez. All right, there.
There, do you want me to get you a pair?
That's not me. Mind you. Who you calling Big Nose? I like Python. Any Monty Python fans here? That's true, yeah. It's not for me, JP. Probably get you one. Nice little pink tutu and a pink unicorn headset. That's your dear. Christmas party organised. Yeah, but I don't get all the nonsense. I mean, I get why people, if they're bored, will go to a room and shit stir a bit,
come on,
carry on.
Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes
Oh, there's funny fun and there's shit fun.
everybody does
While
it.
it remains funny, I'm in.
Everybody does it. You'll be sitting there watching something on YouTube, and on the side, or you go back, or across your thing, it'll
Stalking.
suggest. That's true. It'll suggest watch this, whatever, because you've watched some other video. And yeah, of course, everybody goes and takes a look. You'd be lying. We do. We go have a quick look. If it's boring, we go off. If not, yeah, we'll sit and laugh. I found all pink computer accessories. Oh, my daughter would love that. She's into pink.
We watch a couple of competitive eaters because they're funny.
Oh, God.
And there's a lady called Molly Schuyler. I think it's Schuyler. S-C-U-U-L something. Schuyler. And anyway, today I watched her eat, and I'm not kidding, 26 Big Macs. New world record.
In how long?
I think it took her about 40 minutes or something like that. But
yeah.
26. She's built like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's another girl we watch called Raina. She's an American. Looks like Korean or Japanese heritage, but she's just going to eat. I wouldn't see those two together.
Oh, it'd be cool to see those two together.
Just unbelievable. Molly can just polish the foods down like you can believe. But Molly is built seriously like that. She's about a third the size of me.
Yeah, 180 knows who.
Danny watches Matt Stone, and there's another guy.
Who's Matt Stone?
Don't know, but we watched that guy who, you know, the guy that turns his head around and goes.
Oh yeah, you could walk around like that. That's good. You look younger.
Randy Santel, I think. Is it Randy Santel? Is that who I'm thinking of? Good morning, Sids. Yeah, I mean, it fascinates me. I like a good feed, and when I was younger, I could eat a lot, but I couldn't eat anywhere near the amount, particularly that Molly Schuyler. My goodness. If anyone's got the link to her channel while we're talking about it, chuck it in. If you got it 180, put it in.
Yeah, they're cool to watch.
Oh, Danny, I think Molly's got that one polished off as well. She ate 26 Big Macs today. 26. I don't even like them. If you force me to eat 26, I'm sure I'd be dead.
No, it's fun. I mean, sometimes it's disgusting, but that Molly, like, she'll start eating and then it's just...
Oh, yeah. Joey Chestnut is almost out of the picture now. Is he a competitive eater, 180?
Type her name, the one that eats heaps, Molly...
And I think it's S-C-H-U-L-L... E-R, I think. Schuyler. I could be wrong.
I've spelled it wrong.
Actually, just in YouTube, type in world record 26 Big Macs, and it'll come up. Okay, it's lost it. I've seen, even in Australia, they have eating competitions, but it's always the big guys that get up there, you know what I mean? They're like, whoa. There's a famous wood chopper who we spoke to years ago. He was from Tasmania, and he entered a pie eating contest. And I can eat 2 or 3 pies at a big push. 33 pies he ate. And I said, mate, that was unbelievable. He said, that's just smoko. He's a big wood chopper, arms about 3 times the size of mine, huge, and he can fell a tree down like in no time. But 33 pies. Incredible.
I'll get a jacket on. I'm cold.
All right. And I've seen plenty of hot dog eating contests. We've got big royal shows that I've attended many professionally, not as an eater, in business. And there's always sorts of sideshow alley things like that. I saw one over in Thailand, and JP would know what I'm talking about. It's not a contest as such. It's at the bars when the Aussies and Poms and the Canadians and the Yanks get together, and someone wanders off to the market and brings back insects. And then I'll had a few, and I'll eat a whole bucket of them. Go and get them, mate. Well, I'll bet you $100. You? Oh, your name's going to be mud. And then they get all these insects put in front of them. They go, oh, shit. Yeah. Aussies would compete in anything. They're not too bad, actually. The mealworms are probably the ones I like the best, Jane. Little, you know, probably inch long, little skinny buggers. Look like miniature witchery grubs. You get two blokes, an Aussie in a bar anywhere in the world, and there's a competition. Trust me, Aussies just do that shit. Yeah, silkworms, they're not too bad. Crickets, I weren't keen on them. Get stuck in my teeth. But yeah, I'd eat anything if I had to. As long as you fry it and add salt and pepper and maybe a bit of curry powder. Well, I do read the statistics that scientists say that if we stopped eating meat and just started eating insects, there could never be any hunger on the planet. But then I read a report last week which was unnerving. Since I was born until now, 40% of the volume of insects are gone. Not many insects around anymore.
That's because everybody keeps eating them.
I blame people in Thailand, actually. That's what it is. You lose insects, we lose us. That's how it works. Don't believe me? Go Google it. Yeah, they get stuck in your mouth.
Highkeeping.
Highkeeping. Yeah, the worst one. I played a lot of cricket. And the worst one is flies. You get used to. This is a normal day in 8 hours on a cricket field. Fuck off. And good, got your little bugger. And then you get one go right up your nose. Right up to about here. And even when you get it out, there's the ghost remnants. Otherwise, you still think the bugger's in there.
Or if you swallow one.
Hose, water. Shit. I can get them out of my eyes and my ears and catch them, but when they go up here, right up in the nose. Little bush flies. Not big ones, little bush flies. Pain in the ass.
Hey, Biker. Oh, I have to show
G'day,
Biker
Biker.
my ears.
Yep, she's got to shave one of her ears. I don't know if Sid's seen it either.
Hey, how's that? That's what I'm taking to England and Germany with me. Unicorn ears, so it'll be nice and warm.
It's just when we go to the topless beaches in Germany, I just need her to put that on her head so I can pick her out in the crowd.
So you could wear them.
I don't need a unicorn.
Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Yep,
Well,
so
if
my
you're going to do that, I'll have this.
headgear's ready. I'll be nice and warm.
Yeah, less than a week, we go fly the big bird. I did watch a tiny
Leaving
bit.
to make the rounds. Have fun. I'll
See
see
you,
you
180.
180.
Yeah, mate. I did watch a bit of YouTube today. I caught awesome hooker having a nervous breakdown on a highway. I don't know what that was all about.
I know that was the other day.
Was
She did a live stream while she was driving. She was just having an attack. That's all, and talking helped
Okay.
her get to her appointment.
Who else? I don't think I watched anything else. I think I watched Molly's 26 burger thing last night.
Yeah, you have to watch some of those, JP. Molly more likes to do food challenges.
Who?
Molly is more to do with just meat than anything else.
Oh yeah, no, she can polish off.
Oh, but
80 ounce
man,
steak.
God, she makes a mess. Like whatever she drops, she just gets it in her hands and eats
The other
it.
one's called Raina. I'll type it in. I don't know what her surname is, but it's.
Oh yeah, we will.
that's
It's
her
next
first
week.
name.
Hey Kathy, do you like my ears, Kathy? My unicorn. So there is unicorns.
That's Raina, and if you type that in YouTube and I don't know,
Hey,
type
look.
in food.
How magic is that? I just typed that in and my hands are here.
No, I typed that in.
I know. I'm clever, see?
What?
Like people who can throw their voice, ventriloquist, whatever.
Mhm.
I can type from here. I know. Seeds looks quite staying in them, but he's not getting them.
That's all right.
He's got a beanie with a pom-pom on it.
I'll get over it.
I know unicorns are endangered, see? That's why I'm special.
Yeah. When I first met her, she was on that bus
This-
with them headset on.
I know. Oh dear.
I haven't watched the man in the can last time he was dying. Did he die?
No.
Okay. He eats some shit though. He eats a load of shit.
He should do those food challenges.
Well, what, have lettuce in a burger? He'd choke.
He could do the food challenges.
It is 21 degrees here, or in Fahrenheit.
Yeah, now the breeze stopped because I went and got a cardigan on.
What time it is? 9 o'clock at night. That's our temperature. 70. Not hot, it's not cold. Had a big breeze this morning though, but it's gone now.
It was cold this morning.
Tell him a joke or something.
I don't know any jokes.
You got jokes? Yes, you have.
No, you tell him a joke. I don't do jokes. Mine aren't paid. What's a twip? Did you see that? Understand? What is a twip? It's what a wabbit takes on a twain. There you go. That's a joke.
There you go. That's funny.
Oh, God. That's not funny. 54.81.
Is
So
that-
what's
That's
that's
81. That's not hot for us, but is that warm for you keeping? Warm for us is probably around 90, 92. 81's nice.
low battery. Go back on yourself. I'm going to get your thing.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. Apparently we've got a low battery. I would like all people in the side chat to take the brace position until we get the battery. You never know. Put your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye. But mind you, if we get the battery in time, all will be well. I don't know about you, but whenever you get on a plane, I think I said this the other day, and the lady gets up there and she, and the jacket, right? They put the jacket on and they say, there's a whistle. There's a whistle. You're ploughing into the ocean at 600 mile an hour, and if you're in the brace position and somehow you survive in the middle of the Atlantic, that's 2 degrees Fahrenheit, and then you just blow the whistle and all will be well.
Let's check that that worked.
If I'm going to have a plane crash, the whistle, the life jacket, the brace position, pointless.
Check.
What am I checking? I've got to turn this off to check.
Push play again. It'll take a while. to
You're
come back.
live. Sorry about that. I was just checking if we had enough power to keep going so you didn't have to sit in a brace position. Put you back to the boss.
Why are you putting it back to me?
Well, they love that joke. Do another one.
No, I don't know any more jokes.
Have a yarn with them, as we say.
Avignon, what's happening? Very humid. No, it's just,
What, is that what Keeping said?
no, seeds.
Did Keeping answer if 81's warm for him, or...?
No.
Yeah, that wouldn't be warm for us.
Have you mastered? I'm getting there with the new camera. I tell you what, waiting for a full moon. I know how to take a picture of a full moon properly now.
Sure about that.
It'll take months
weeks.
to master it, so I'll do my best, but we will still use Seeds' iPhone to do some filming in case I stuff up. Like, once you master it, it'll become second nature, it'll be easy, but it's just learning it. Switch here, switch there, the aperture, the shutter, this, that. But I'll get there. Humidity's not nice. I could frame my face. Oh, look! I've only had one coffee. Actually, I was looking through some old photos earlier. Yeah, when it's in its hundreds, it's hot, yeah. We're talking Fahrenheit, yeah? With
I reckon
keeping.
it's warm about 90.
With
I reckon
keeping.
it's warm about 90. It's hot when it's 102,
Oh, it's
103.
friggin' hot when it's 102 if we're talking Fahrenheit.
Yeah, I'm 37. It's not that hot. We get 45s.
Yeah.
It gets hotter than that. But in Australia, we've got a cunning device. I want you all to listen real carefully. In Australia, when it gets really, really hot, we turn on the air conditioner.
Yep, and have a cold drink. As I was saying, I was looking through some old photos. Like old, talking back when Mum and Dad were young kids. Yeah, it was a bit of reminiscing. Have to do a thing.
You must remember this.
A kiss is just a kiss. A sigh is just a sigh. Okay, that's enough.
The fundamental things apply
Oh my God.
as years go by.
You can tell who's the singer in the family?
Yeah, yeah.
No. Did you have it in stereo or mono?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm not technically advanced to know what that means on a phone.
Oh yeah, 100% humidity.
Yeah, Sydney's a classic. I mean, you get to Sydney, JP, because he lives on the Gold Coast but visits Sydney on occasions, he would tell you the same. You get 25 degrees in Sydney, and because it's just people everywhere with the humidity, it's horrible.
You just sweat, just a bag of sweat. And dry heat's good.
Well, we're not going into any dry heat shortly, that's for sure.
One of the kids, neither of you two. Okay, I've missed something. What's that in relation to? I'm a bit lost, JP. I've missed something. It's probably my ears that have caused that. Oh, our singing interlude. Yeah, Sydney's horrible during summer. When it has those terrible humid days. And everything's damp. Your whole house is damp. Or if you've had rain. Actually, that happens when you have excessive rain too. Everything feels damp, doesn't it? Yeah, dry heat's good.
It's just too many.
Huh?
Too many people in Sydney. That's the problem. The roads are congested.
You said
Everyone's
you
pissed off.
can tell who the sing. Oh yes, yeah. Okay, Jade. Talk about, so you can tell the sing.
Well, we can sing a
One is-
famous song if you like.
I know I can't sing.
Road again.
But like I said before, a couple of bourbons, I can do anything, including fly a plane. So. Yeah, that when it excessive rain and you think, oh, everything's just damp. The floor's sticky.
No danger of that here.
Ah, well, we've got dry heat here.
I mean, rain.
Yes, lagging, yeah. Actually, I can tell that there's lag between the two phones too.
I think it's 15, 20 seconds. I don't know.
I was 27 seconds behind. Well, we're 27 seconds in front of you then. We can tell you what happened or what's going to happen.
The mysterious creature down the back's making its normal nightly noise.
Yeah, it's too dark or we'll take you down there. I think it's a cat or something or a bird.
It's actually getting warmer now.
I could not even live stream a small race at the moment. How come, biker?
Because it's in the middle of the bush.
Ah.
Biker's a bit like Dad and Dave. We've got Dave in the chat there as JP, and Biker could be Dad.
Oh, does JP know Dave and Dad?
Dad and Dave?
Dad and Dave, where it is.
I imagine he does. Hey Dad. What, son?
Hey, it's a wet heat
I'm
here.
thinking about going out with a girl.
Keeping said it's a wet heat
Just be
here.
careful with them, son. They're dangerous.
Step out 10 seconds. Later, you're... Yeah, I know, keeping it's horrible, isn't it? I don't know Dad and Dave, but I do know Dad.
Dad and Dave?
I don't know Dave and Dad. I said it wrong.
Next thing you'll be telling me you don't know anything about the castle.
Oh, I said it the wrong way.
JP lives in a place like the people that lived in the house, the castle. What do you call that, dear?
Souls. Yeah, that was a good movie.
Your mother's a magnificent cook.
Yes, JP said, tell him he's dreaming.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad.
Hey,
What,
JP,
son?
JP, how much do they want for them lances? How much? Tell them they're dreaming.
Oh, and he says, hey, Dad, yes, son, I dug a hole. Yeah, tell him he's dreaming.
I'm going to dox JP now. Dox JP. JP actually lives at Porpoise Spit. There you go. Doxed.
Porpoise Spit.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Oh, I can't tell you exactly.
Oh, if you've doxed him, you might as well go all the
Porpoise
way now.
Spit, you know, it's a famous place for sure.
JP, do you know what he's talking about? Damn. Yep, he knows.
Don't you remember Porpoise Spit?
No.
All right, imagine the girls.
What girls?
Oh, you're terrible, Muriel.
Oh, 4 weddings and a funeral.
No, Muriel's
Wedding. Oh,
God, it's not working in the Alzheimer's wing here.
that's my ears. Okay, I got it now. If anyone wants to visit, I'm lonely. Come over. The door's opened.
Who's that?
JP, because you doxed him. Hey, Aussie. 2 Aussie. Go.
I watched a couple of
G'day,
Aussie's
guys.
videos. He does cooking. Him and his
Yeah,
missus made this. He made this vegan meal.
Actually, that burger your wife made looked really nice. 2 Aussie. Introduce yourself to everyone in the room. JP. And all. Go subscribe. Lovely couple. Oh yeah, hang your hat, put your feet up. Hang your hat and put your feet up, yeah. Oh, that just reminded me of the other movie.
Another iconic Australian show. JP, money on the fridge, mongrel. And you got to go and move Neville. The neighbours are complaining.
Oh, the other one. You can leave your hat on. What was that movie?
That's a song. Are you talking about the show where the boys strip off?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, I know what it is.
Hey, we could do one of them.
What was the movie called?
I can't remember. What was the movie
let it
called?
come, dear, 'cause
JP. They sing the song, You Can Leave Your Hat On.
Boom, boom, boom. All those unemployed blokes, and you can't remember the name of the movie.
No, I can't.
Oh dear.
What is it?
What's the name of that movie, guys? First quiz question of the evening.
Yeah, see now JP's thinking, 2 Aussies going to think, who the hell's this on the screen?
What?
I'm Seed's wife, by the way. Just got unicorn ears on because I'm taking these to England with me. Keep my ears warm. You can keep your hat on. Come on, what's that movie?
They were unemployed.
The Full Monty. Was that it? The Full Monty? Yeah, I think that was what it was called, Full Monty.
In Newcastle.
Well, it was an English
Unemployed
movie, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't Australian. Yep. Yes, I won the quiz. I got it right. Yes, so 2 Aussie, that vegetarian burger, I think sounded and looked very nice.
Yeah, Ozzy, I thought that that vegan meal that you made with your daughter was really good.
She's a good burger.
Got to get one in. He'll enjoy the humour. He's nearly as silly as I am. See you later, Sids.
See you, Sid.
But we love cooking in this house. Well, I'll define that. I like cooking, and the wife likes eating it. I have to go. Angus cow has turned up to collect her belongings. Oh dear, that's an in-joke between me and Biker.
Are you going to, Biker? See you, Biker.
Oh, she's coming over. Hey,
Oh,
I
okay.
could just see Biker now putting the old grease on her hair, using the comb, saying, "Nah, that's all right." Sticking on the old lovers in the air every time she comes around. Bit of brute.
Who's doing that?
Little dining aftercoat Biker puts on as the loved one approaches. Smooth character.
Who, JP or Biker?
No, Biker, no.
Oh, JP's a smooth character.
Yeah, but he's a bodybuilder from the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
He'll actually do a show one day and rip off his shirt and show you the rippling muscles. See you, Biker. I'll tell you what, too, Aussie. You want to, on YouTube, look for a lady called Molly Schuyler. Actually, just type in the thing, world record, 26 Big Macs. That's what she did today. And did it in 40 minutes. 26 Big Macs. I can't even eat one. I don't like them. But she had a lot. She is built like this. Piled in 26. She eats things you just would not imagine. 80-ounce steaks. No problem. Haggis is all right. Fans.
Put your link in.
Yeah, we like Outlander. It's just said Outlander. Yeah, we like that show.
Like Outlander, yeah.
We've got a few more episodes to watch. We started watching a year ago. I think that's the link to Molly, maybe, JP's put in.
JP, is that to Molly or is that to your haggis link? The link to your vid?
Yeah. Yeah, they're not too bad. You know, it depends where you get them. I've had haggis before from a soccer club where I used to live.
That's Molly's.
That's Molly's. All right, yeah.
Thanks,
no.
JP.
Go and have a look at them. Watch them two Aussie. Go and watch her eat 26 Big Macs.
So, to Aussie asked you, JP, what haggis was like.
Now, Sids, why do you like that show? Is it the interesting dialogue, the period costumes,
No, it's the men's
or all the
bodies.
humping, all the vegan sausage rolls tonight? Is the missus vegan to Aussie? Is that where this comes? I've got no problem with that, but is your missus a vegan? Well, are you a vegan? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, JP, if you knew what was in our sausages, haggis would be quite friendly.
Oh, yeah, the cheap sausages, but when you got proper made ones from a butcher, it's better.
Yeah, you go for it, Savannah. I'll sing for you. You can just put a picture of JP up. Should work.
Hey, Savannah. No, I don't. I like a lot of vegan, vegetarian food, whatever you want to call it.
I'm with you. I'll eat anything. But we do have regularly during the week just a meal of the wife makes roast veggies, all different types, sweet potato, carrot, you name it, onion, everything. And then nice and sort of crunchy veggies with sour cream, and I like my hot sauce on it. She has a mild sweet chilli, but yeah, that's a good feed. That's vegetarian, but don't really care. It's nice.
Hang on. So there's Outlander.
Outlander's the one we watch.
What's the other one?
That's with the big Scottish guy that keeps ripping out his willy and giving it to the little girl from the 20th century.
What's the other show? Highlander. That's right. But
Highlander. That's me.
Outlander is what we watch, yeah.
MacLeod. I was born in 1812, so I'm a bit of a Highlander. Not bad for my age, though. Yeah, I don't know what we're up to, what series we're up to with the Outlander, but and I'd agree with the missus. It's getting a bit drawn out.
Yeah, like I've enjoyed.
But I like it. Don't get me wrong, but it's a bit drawn out.
I've enjoyed the series, but some of the scenes I could have redirected them with my ears on. I could have redirected them. Some of them they could have actually shortened a little bit. They drag it out a bit. Well, they
Jamie, that's his name, isn't it? Jamie.
I mean, I think there was one episode. No, the whole episode was just constant sex scenes.
Yeah. What's that on my page?
Yeah.
No. It's got a good storyline, but I was really interested when it was battles and this and that, and now it's just a lot of talking. Oh, you don't have to give me a thumbs up, Ozzy. I don't really care. But yeah, we don't watch a lot of telly. I mean, we seriously started watching that Outlander a
How do you
couple of
boil
years
your
ago.
vegetables without catching them on fire? Oh, I do mine in the oven or in a small portable oven. When I cut them up small.
Well, small or big, what you do is chop your veggies up and you put them in the roasting pan, and then you get a bit of olive oil and you get your hand in and cover them all. What I do is I put a bit of smoked paprika over the top, a bit of parsley, salt and pepper. Beautiful. In the oven, 180 degrees for whatever time it takes.
But people do put veggies on the grill, Savannah, but they've usually got them cut bigger. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I do that sometimes with slices of sweet potato or eggplant. Like when I'm doing
Johnny, stop
Japanese
retracting your messages.
Never seen Game of Thrones.
No,
We just don't watch a lot of television. But this, like I say, movies come and go these days, but they're all pretty similar.
Do a video of that one, of the veggies.
Yeah, you should
Yeah,
do.
I can do my veggie
We have
one.
that quite regularly, so I'll get her to do a video. She can be master chef, and I'll be cameraman. She does overcrowd the pan a
Oh,
bit.
shut up.
Ah, sorry, it's just...
Yeah, what am I working?
Don't matter.
What am I working with?
It doesn't matter what you work with, you don't blame your tools, all right?
Yes,
A good carpenter builds the house with a toothpick.
No, you do. You're like your porn without a storyline, so I don't watch Game of Thrones. Oh, okay. Is that what it's about? Because I've never seen Game of Thrones. Oh, maybe we've watched the first couple of episodes.
No, I've never seen it. We've seen like trailers and stuff, but
I bet you JP'd like that other comic one you liked that actually ripped off. Which one? You know, all those Scottishmen and they pilfered.
oh yeah, there's the series called Vikings. All right, a series called Vikings. It's on Netflix.
So you two were.
But there's another series that takes the mickey out of it. It's made in the same country and it's meant to be funny, but it's like black comedy. I can't remember what it's called. Do you remember what it was called?
No, that's what I'm asking.
It's only a
you.
couple of seasons of it, but it's funny, really funny. Yeah. Vikings, the series, is based fairly loosely but solidly on some of the historical facts about Vikings. And there is testament in some scientists that say Vikings visited Australia. We know the Chinese came here in the 14th century.
Yes, good-looking men in Vikings.
Do you like their bullhorns, Sids? Is that what you're saying? That bloke's got a nice set of bullhorns.
JP will go.
He can come to my village and pillage any time he likes. says
JP will go
Sids.
get a set now. Well, he probably has a set.
I remember Benny Hill doing a raid sketch, if you all remember Benny Hill. And he said he got up there with all the troops and he's dressed in he's got a big fat belly and he's got a helmet on and a sword. And he said, "Let's go forth, brothers, we shall rape the men and pillage the village." And the guy said, no, it's the other way around. And Benny said, "You do whatever you have to do." That was funny. So you couldn't get away with some of that stuff on television now.
No, not now, no.
Benny Hill was always what we would consider today racist. He'd say words like gollywog and all that sort of thing. But when I grew up, all that was said. That was common. If you remember the British comedy Carry On films, you seriously go back and look at a few of them, they'd never pass today, ever. They wouldn't get past the censor.
Yeah, there's some pretty horrific movies out there. It's amazing what they pass.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's just what was. Racism was just a natural thing for people. Bigotry, it's like, and people made fun of it. What my favourite, well, he's Irish, comedian from the UK, was Dave Allen. I don't know if you guys remember Dave Allen. Very funny man. Without doubt, my favourite American comedian, who unfortunately took his own life, Robin Williams.
And English, Billy Connolly.
Billy Connolly. He's Scottish.
Oh, Scottish, whatever.
He'd
Same
take,
thing.
he'd take your head off with a sword if you said he was English.
Same thing.
Billy Connolly, they're my idols. I'm French Indian, mum's side, and Irish German on my dad's side.
Well, that's a
It
good
sounds like your
combi-
family was always at war.
That's a good combination, Sids.
But yeah, some of the, like I say, a lot of the shows, actually it's a bit like most of life. You look around in Australia and everyone drives around in SUVs. Now, if you said, I want you to tell me what the make of that car is it Toyota or is it Hyundai? You wouldn't know. They all look the same. And some of our TV shows are all the same. There's a lot of same, but there's not a great deal of diversity.
Oh, here comes a breeze. See, lucky I've got my ears on.
Ah,
There's a breeze.
we've got a downdraft. Hang on. No rain though. No rain for 4 months.
There is about a 20-30 second lag.
Is it?
I'm watching, yeah.
Sit my Triton is cheaper than the Hilux. Yeah, but you know what I mean, JP? They all look the bloody same. You know, when I was a kid, a Holden, or a Chevy if you like, if you're from the US, and a Ford, totally distinctive. Chryslers, totally distinctive. Toyotas were totally different. But today, they all look the same. You have got a southern accent. Where you from, Sids? I'm down south as well.
Yes, accents are good.
When I was a boy and lived in Swamp, Louisiana, I remember meeting Sids. We both were skinny dipping in a little pond. What happened was, it never was going to be, because I was swimming in the lake and Sids was swimming across, and this fucking great alligator came out. I swam that way and she swam that way. I never saw her again. Ding.
Oh dear. No, good accent. Sid says she's from Louisiana.
We got friends in Louisiana. Jack lives down in Louisiana.
Oh yeah?
Lives in the bunker.
Who?
Jack. Bought a big bunker.
Oh,
You
I
remember Jack?
forgot about him.
Yeah.
Have you heard from him? Hey,
No,
Kathy.
he hasn't done many videos over the last couple of years.
Love from Nepal. That's Kathy. Not sure how to say that. Kushal.
That's it. What was it called?
It's 12:30. I must leave. Thanks.
Get
Steve.
over.
Help
Bye,
me get
John.
over.
See you later, JP.
I was suffering due to footy. Oh,
I-
alright, have a good sleep, JP.
I got a good friend in Texas that left me a message on. I don't hardly use it, called Voxer. If you've ever heard that, you just like leave messages for each other. Well, he knows Link Knight. Some of you may not know Link Knight. He's an Aussie, but my Texan friend's half Aussie and half American, and he puts on a pretty good Link Knight voice. Had me rolling in stitches. He was saying he's Terry. Oh, I'm Terry. Oh, I'm Terry Knight. I'm Link's long lost brother in Texas. See you later, Sids.
Have you ever... No, we've never been to Nepal.
No, wouldn't mind going. Don't know about the heights though.
About the what?
Pretty high altitude through Nepal.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'd do it, but you know, because we live at sea level most of our lives in Australia, anything over about 20,000 feet, we start to go, oh, where's the oxygen? It's true. And believe it or not, I've got some friends from South America who live in the mountains. They struggle when they're at sea level. They have the reverse effect.
Yeah, it is a beautiful place. We've seen documentaries on it.
Kushal. Hello, Kushal. Namaste.
Huh?
He knows what I did.
Mm.
Namaste. Beautiful country, Nepal. I've seen quite a few different shows about Nepal and its wildlife and its villages. Beautiful country. Just involved in a lot of political nonsense, unfortunately. It's like a lot of that area.
But
Sadly.
there's places you can go without having to worry
Oh,
about
we could
that.
fly to Nepal tomorrow, no problem. It's usually an internal conflict. So are you Nepalese, Kushal? Or are you from a different country living in Nepal? Buy seeds, buy Mrs. Seeds.
See ya,
See ya, Seeds. Just watch out for them alligators, mate. You are from Nepal, so you're Nepalese. Yeah, beautiful country. Have you ever been out of Nepal? You might have gone to China, I guess, or other areas. Again, it's down to political convenience. I know the Nepalese are treated pretty badly as a people, if you know what I mean. Dum 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 dum. Look out,
Jaws.
Seeds! Look out, Seeds! Yeah, but it's a Louisiana version of the song.
Ah, because that music was from the movie Jaws.
Well, I reckon if she's from Louisiana, she might like a little bit of old mixed up music, like hillbilly music. Me, I was born in 1812, Kushel, but I don't look a day over 60. Well, if you tell them the truth, it's just easy, and then they go, nah, you don't look that old. My hair's getting to an annoying thing. It's getting a bit of length, but a bit hard to tie up at the moment. So the beanie will come in handy. In other words, my hair would go like this.
Yeah. So what's your weather like? How do you pronounce it? Cashel.
Kushel, I think you'd say.
So what sort of weather are you having, Cashel?
I reckon it'd be cold at the moment in Nepal. Could be wrong, but I think it would be. Snows there.
Let's see, should I use the Urban Decay Heat or Cherry
Just go natural, mate.
palette?
Just wash your face, put a smile on, and hit the world. I don't mind people putting makeup on, but I think people look far more prettier without it. It's just me.
Oh, sherry sounds nice. Sherry sounds nice.
What, as a colour?
Yeah.
Sounds good as a drink. I don't know about the colour. I always wonder, and this is not me having to go at women, but I always wonder why women put makeup on. And as you get older, you figure it out. You work it out. It's not for us blokes. It's for other women. Okay?
No, some people like to do it for themselves.
No. Women put makeup on to look pretty for other women to say, look at me.
No, I don't. I don't.
You don't put makeup on at all. Bit of eyeshadow every now and
No,
then.
I don't wear eyeshadow. Or mascara.
All right, the black stuff. Yeah. Don't know why. Women are quite mean to each other in general. I'll be honest, that's what I've seen on YouTube and in real life. I have white eyebrows and, well, you don't need any makeup. You're obviously a natural beauty.
I'm the same. I look quite pale without mascara. The black stuff, yeah, I know.
I remember we had when I worked for that company, with the therapy company, and we had two ladies. Remember old Carol?
Yes.
Oh, mate, she used a palette knife.
Yeah.
She was about 65, lovely person. She used to get up at 4 in the morning and watch those workout videos on telly. And I'm upset, what the fuck is that? And then you get up and there she is. I say, morning, Carol. So she's got no makeup on, got a headband on, like she's, you know, Olivia Newton-John, but she's 65. Bones are cracking as she's waving around the legs and arms. And then she disappears, has a shower, comes out with a palette knife of makeup on. There's so much makeup on she couldn't even move her face when she talked. I think she went out to scare people.
Yes, I'm very pale too. Eyelashes and eyebrows. Savannah's a natural vampire.
A natural vampire. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I'm strawberry blonde as well.
Reminds me of some of my old favourite movies. Any of you probably, only a couple of you will know that. Do you remember an actor called Long Chaney? What's the other? Blugie Belushi. There's a whole Boris Karloff going back into that era. Some silent movies, some early talkie movies. Vampires and things that go bump in the night. Yeah, I love them. Good fun. I like silent movies too. Charles Chaplin, Buster Keating.
Black and white then.
Well, yeah, they didn't have colour in 1910.
Well, you don't know.
No, I do know.
Oh, yeah, good. You were around. That's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
The original was son of Long Chaney. No, the original Long Chaney. He was at his peak in the 30s. He was actually one of his greatest roles. Like the light from the day, I cannot come out of the tower.
Yes, they did wear the
The
black
Humpback of Notre Dame.
stuff. They did wear the black stuff back then. Mascara.
What, in silent movies?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course they did. It was to accentuate.
The black stuff. See, this is going to be known. The black stuff.
I'll make a good makeup salesman. You want some of the pink stuff, the cherry stuff, or the black stuff? It's all a bargain. Here's a palette knife, use that. I think women, first of all, are concerned about their hair before makeup. Long Chaney Jr. You sure, Kathy? I'm talking about he was probably 45, 50 when he did Notre Dame, the Humpback of Notre Dame. I don't think that was Junior. Could be wrong. I love those old classics.
I think it's a Google time.
I used to go when I was a kid. Don't laugh. There used to be a theatre in the UK where you could go. There's some old lady playing the piano and the silent movies. It was in the 60s. I'm not kidding you. It was still very popular up to the 60s. You go to, and usually small theatres, you know, 200 or 300 seats. All right, Kathy, I'll take your word for it. But that era of movies, it's funny, let's be honest. And if you could go back, imagine going back to 1920, 1915 and watching a silent movie. It'd be brilliant. It'd be like a big night out for sure. Retired military and French courtesans recognise the importance of makeup. Okay. Well, of course, we all know when I was a kid that the main ingredient for makeup, lipstick, and all those other goodies, was whale oil. Even in my state, they used to cut up whales for their blubber and sell it to pharmaceutical companies.
I can't wear heels. Never have.
If I wore heels, I'd never be able to get through a door.
If you wore heels, I'd be filming that and putting it on YouTube.
Which is funny. I know, JP would have seen a few when he was over there. I think he's gone there, but in the UK, Ireland, in some of the old pubs, the doorways are only like 5'8", 5'10" high. So it'd be like getting underneath them.
Yeah, arsenic.
Oh, yeah, Ma Park, yeah. Kathy, I like all the old stuff. There's an old radio show called Bellbird. Do you remember that?
Ma and Pa Kettle loved it.
Dad and Dave.
Show, yeah.
Do you remember Dad and Dave? No. Myrtle. What?
Ma and Pa Kettle, yep.
Dad? What? That Kathy Weezer. I think she's from the local town. I might ask her out on a date. Don't be silly, Dave. She's more woman than you can handle. All right, Dad. Dad and Dave. Funny. Really funny. Of course, the recent version, the movie was with Leo McKern. But what was that old guy's name in the original? Anyway. The kettles of my grandparents. There you go. That explains you, Kathy. Still got the old copper pot going as we speak, I imagine, doing your washing. I remember as a kid, used to get those Jaffa balls, you know, the hard lollies with the chocolate in the middle. And all the old theatres literally had little steps going down to the front. So that's how the theatres were built. Of course, if you went down the back, after eating your pollywaffle, you'd throw down a couple of these Jaffa balls because they go clunk, clunk, clunk. And those guys with the torches were going, what's going on? What's going on? And you sit up straight and it's like, nothing to do with me. Morning, Ella.
Hey, good morning, Ella.
Or you throw marshmallows.
Evening, Ella. Actually, it's evening for us.
I think that movie, The Green Blob, it came out in the late 60s. I watched that in a theatre in Australia.
10 kids, 9 boys and 1 girl. My
Yep.
God.
And a partridge in a pear tree. Yeah, big families where they go. My mum came from a family of 17.
Well, actually, yeah, my great-grandmother
17.
had 22.
And only one died, actually. Her twin sister died through tuberculosis. So they did pretty all right for a family that big. For sure. Put you over to Studio 1 and where we'll be going shortly. If you have any further questions about makeup
Like my ears, Ella?
or unicorns,
Yes, I can answer all questions about unicorns and rainbows. Well, your mum probably was spoiled, was she, Kathy?
makes the medicine go down, the medicine go down.
I'm taking this on holidays with me. Keep my ears warm.
One of my favourite movies when I was a kid, Mary Poppins.
Oh, all those classic movies.
Jim Jiminy, Jim Jim, Jim Jim Jim. Dick Van Dyke was the character too. Jim Jiminy, Jim Jiminy.
No, next to the oldest, she was mean. Your mother was mean, Kathy. Was that just like growing up?
You weren't Kathy, you weren't children of the corn, were you? You're just pure white trash, one step away from poverty. Yes. I sound like Hannibal Lecter. Kathy, lean closer.
Oh, stop it. Ah. Yes, my great-grandmother had 22. Yes, it would have been my great-grandmother because she lost most of the boys in the war.
I knew that my mum's mum had a sister, which is not unusual, but she couldn't have children. So she took about 4 of the youngest of her children for about 4 or 5 years because they couldn't fit them in the house.
Yeah, Ella told me to get you because you're scaring her with that Hannibal Lecter thing. Well, I suppose your mum would have, Kathy, because of having 9 brothers. So just behave yourself because you're scaring Ella.
I'm not
Show the
scaring
knees.
you, Ella, am I? The lights have gone out, Ella.
Stop it.
Stay in your chair. Don't move. Someone will come to help you, I'm sure. I think someone's at your door, Ella.
Do you want me to,
Are you there, Ella?
do you want me to smack him now, Ella?
Ghost stories. I've got a few ghost stories I've done on my channel, actually.
Eat your favourite beans.
Father.
Father.
Hello, Father. Hello, Mother.
Now it's bedtime here. I don't know if I have enough. Maybe
See,
not.
entertainment,
Coffee.
when I was a kid, would be, if you were lucky, to grab a torch. I'd sit up and put my hand in front of the torch and make animal
Puppet
shadows
yeah.
and tell stories. And that was pretty exciting.
And when we were kids, we always found stuff to amuse ourselves.
Mhm.
Outside,
I was
write
always
stories,
fishing
read a
at the
book.
beach. It was a real huckleberry fin. I used to disappear for days amongst the rocks at the end of a big pier. or a broken down old lighthouse. No one cared because there was no one at home, so it wasn't a problem. I could make a horror movie.
Yeah, well,
The Night of the Living Boy.
yes, there's a lot of kids spoiled these days.
A typical night in the darkened streets of Boyd. Kathy Weezer was rushing home from work. Just got inside in time. Down the street came dun, 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 Jock the Itch Ripper. Come here, my pretty.
It's okay. I'll give him his tablets shortly.
I'll stop. I'm probably scaring you. Boo. Yes. The Night of the Living Boy.
What, instead of the living dead? Or the evil dead?
She knows the real orphan Annie, so I can't possibly scare her.
Ah.
I do have a couple of, I don't know what the titles of them, of videos about storytelling on my channel. My grandkids love my stories. Mind you, they sleep with the blankets up, with their eyes open all night. No, they're fine. Off to the grist mill. May all your grist come out crispy.
Off to the
Storytelling it
Enjoy.
is an art form, because if you can get the minds of a child encapsulated in an idea of a story, like one of my grandsons in particular, we both drift off into this little world and we make up stories, and then he'll change the ending, and that's very creative for a
Yeah,
child.
when he was younger, because he couldn't say spooky properly, he came out with smooky.
Yeah.
So that was the...
So I invented the island of the Smooky monsters.
Smoky forest with the smoky pigeons.
Yeah, the Smooky pigeons. And they don't forget. The grandkids telling them stories when they're young. They say, do you remember? They don't forget, because they have fun doing it. But there's a couple of stories I've got on mine.
Yeah.
One is you might look on my channel, look for the title Raven, if you want to have a look at that one. There are others, I just forget. Please ask me if she would do an Urban Decay cherry eyebrow pattern, since we have the same colouring. They want you to do a video about makeup. She doesn't use makeup. She'll have to go and buy some makeup to do the video. Here, explain. Mascara.
Yeah, I don't really wear makeup. To do a Urban Decay cherry eyeshadow palette since... Yeah, I have the same, but that's why I just wear mascara. I haven't really worn a lot of makeup. Oh, yes. Oh, I see.
What?
No, she wanted to send me one.
Send you one? But you
Yeah, I
use
only...
makeup.
I'll put it on seeds.
We'll send her a couple of slabs of koala steaks in exchange.
I only wear, as Seeds calls it, the black stuff.
Yes, I might do a few pretend radio shows.
Hello, Vinny. Look, Vinny, do you like my unicorn? See?
No,
Down the boy. Unicorn and rainbows.
I don't believe it, Vinny. It's a real horn. Trust me.
This is what I'm taking to England with me to keep me warm. I'm going to make Seeds walk around with me while I'm wearing it.
I'll just tell everybody I'm a carer. It'll be fine.
Honestly, I am. You'll see me in videos in England and in Germany wearing these. Oh, we watched your kangaroo thingy the other night, Vinny. Loved it. Even though we're in Australia and they're natural for us, it still was exciting that you showed kangaroos.
Vinny do what he normally does, though, because what we do in Australia is we run a couple of down, take them home, cut them up for dog meat, Vinny. You're not going to show him that, are you?
Yeah, and Seeds, Do the Real Annie by James Whitcomb Riley.
No idea what that is. I'm thinking about doing a
Read it.
what am I reading? From Kathy. See, Do the Real Annie by James Whitcomb Riley. My grandkids hate it. Not sure if I know that one, to be honest. I know the name. I know James Whitcomb, but I don't know the story of Annie. But I'm thinking of a few horror radio shows I might do, like Dun Dun Dun, The Stinky Corpse in the Old Van. Dun 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 Dun. And things like that, just for fun. Other words, I'll take the piss out of people.
I know about the roos yet. No, we wouldn't run the roos over, would we, Vinny? I've tried roo meat, sorry, I just don't like it, but I have tried it.
Dogs love it.
Hey, Seeds.
What?
I'll read it to you because it's too much.
Okay.
I'll have to read it to him, Vinny, because he's half blind. I advised Tucker to put an aquarium air pump in the bucket of water with the manure in it, and also advised, yes.
Yep.
I also advised her to put the poop in a stocking. Yes.
Yep.
Yep, Sue says, yep, good.
Yep.
Good idea.
Yeah, it's called the bacterial infusion. In
Yep.
other words, it adds oxygen and you don't get bad bacteria, you get good bacteria.
Yeah.
But you can do it by just having a bucket and stirring it, and then you filtrate it, because what happens after about 4 or 5 days, you get that aeration that comes out from you actually straining it.
You should talk on here because you're looking at me
yeah.
talking.
I thought you might be interested for a moment.
No.
Yeah, no. It's a simple method. But the beauty about what Hook is going to be doing, it's a very small garden, so she can get away with a very small process. Yeah, I know I'm right, Vinny.
Was to do what I used to do. Oh, Vinny.
If you've got dogs in this country and
Yeah,
you've got a licence, a lot of people don't think we have guns in Australia, Vinny, for some reason. There are more guns in New South Wales than people, for starters. In the WA, we're not telling you nothing. But if I wanted to feed dogs, and I don't have dogs at the moment, but if I wanted to go out and get some roo meat for my dogs, not a problem. I can cut and skin a roo up in about 25 minutes. Thank you very much. And the dogs love it. Get the big meat axe out, bones, meat, mix a bit of roo meat with rice, veggie. They love it. And if you know the price of dog food in this country, we've got millions of roos that have to be culled every year. I'm not being callous if I did that at all.
Used to feed my
We eat
children
cows, we
roo
eat
meat.
sheep, we eat kangaroos, and so do the dogs. Roo meat's nice. You just, like I say, I was telling someone the other day, to introduce yourself into a bit of roo meat, you can get it in the US, let's start up with the simples. Get a half a pound of roo mince and half a pound of pork mince. Mix it together. Get that starting flavour, because roo meat's very lean, very, very lean. But yeah, no, I grew up with everybody going out. So you're going out tonight? Yeah, righto. I take me 22 Hornet, usually little, you know, we're not chasing the big reds because they're not real tasty for the dogs anyway. It's like most animals. You get one at about, I'd say, 4 foot high. It's probably just become an adult. The meat's tender.
Kathy says you need guns for roos and spiders. I agree with the spider side of it, Kathy. But you've got to be careful when you're taking the wild roos. You've got to be careful you don't break the what's-the-name's thing.
Yeah, when we go shooting, we would go out, we'd have a beer, but it will always be after we shoot. I'm pretty sure you're the same. But
Like when you take
sit down, light a fire, maybe cook a bit of roo up.
you got to
Pretty
take
common.
the guts and stuff out. Cause,
Takes no time at all.
yeah, I know, but you've got to be careful because the wild ones usually have worms.
No, the wild ones are better eaten than the ones that go near the wheat country. Grain-fed kangaroo is crap.
Yeah, they
It's the
usually-
bush that live off the spinifex that you get good meat. That grain's not good for anything,
You
actually.
can't compare kangaroo meat to anything, Ella. It really has a taste
Oh, no.
of its own.
You could compare it to deer.
I've had deer, I don't think so.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Vinny?
The best part of a kangaroo, without a doubt, is its tail. No, I wouldn't like a blue tongue. I've eaten racehorse, goanna. Bungara, as they call it where I come from.
Roo jerky is horrible. It doesn't really give the true taste of roo meat.
I've eaten pink and grey galah, which was nice. It was in a casserole. I didn't know it was pink and grey, except the meat is actually pink and grey, Vinny. If you ever get a casserole that the meat looks like chicken, tastes a bit like chicken, but it's pink and grey, it's a pink and grey galah. And where I was laying a slab out in the bush in Eneabba in WA when I was only about 17. Bloody beautiful. Onions, bit of garlic, potato, carrot, bit of swede, and pink and grey. Pink and grey casserole. Yeah, I think she must have braised this pink and grey for about 3 weeks before we got there, mate. But it tasted alright, got to tell the truth. I've eaten emu. Emu is nice.
Anything with green skin, you know, yeah.
No, it's not real safe to eat frogs, particularly in my country. Especially the big lumpy ones called Queensland toads. Nasty buggers.
Cane toad.
Yeah, they'll kill you. Literally. A lot of dogs die chomping on a cane toad. It excretes poison. There's a little frog in the middle of the Amazon jungle, which is only about that big, and I'm not kidding you. It's yellow, black, and a bit of red in it. Alright, this is in the Amazon jungle. Tiny little frog. If you extracted the poison in that little frog, it could kill 10,000 people. Seems a bit over the top to me. I mean, it's only a little frog. You think maybe you just kill one person, but no. It's got enough to kill 10,000 people extracting the poison.
In irrigation channel clams.
Well, they'd be a bit muddy, mate.
That's what Vinny said. The worst bush food is the irrigation.
Whatever you catch in the creeks, like we always used to catch yabbies, and they're big buggers over here. But I'd have a big 2,000 gallon rainwater tank, and I would run a pump and I'd let these buggers purge for a week. In other words, I'd put in something like a bit of wheat down the bottom, a bit of grass, and 300 or 400 of these yabbies would eat all that, and they'd shit out all the stuff they've been eating in the creeks, because it's not very nice. So after a week, you scoop them all out, invite a few mates around, boil them up, beautiful. If you get a yabby out of a creek in Australia, cook it up on the side of the bank and eat it, you'll be crunching for starters, like... Yeah, so I purge them for about a week, Vinny, in an old half-cut 2,000 gallon rainwater tank. I just let the water and feed them up. Yum. Yeah, a bit of vinegar's good. I make a little seafood dip up. Spicy red fountain sauce, Vinny, with a little bit of mayonnaise. Try it out. It's called a Bushman's seafood platter. It's about 1/3 of spicy red and 2/3 mayonnaise.
See,
Bit of vinegar if you like.
Vinny's a good cook. I don't know why he doesn't do some more cooking vids and put them up.
Oz doesn't do as much beef as the US. I think we do.
Aussies eat a lot of meat.
A, because it's cheaper here, in general.
Steak probably is the biggest thing here in Australia.
Yeah, no, we eat a lot of beef. I love lamb, so when we get lamb at a good price, we do. The best feed I used to have of things like that, Vinny, I used to go to a river called Greenough when I was a boy up near Geraldton. And it was spring tides, always the bank of the river would open up and you'd have those little channels form. And after about 2 weeks, you got all these prawns that are coming. Mate, we used to just light a fire, take little scooping prawn nets around, and I'm not kidding, 2 or 3 bucketfuls, easy. Just have the pot boiling, chuck big handfuls in there, vinegar, a few beers, great night. Sesame seed prawns, righto, yeah. You're a mean bastard, mate. But yeah, no, they're good times going out doing things like that. you're prawning, you're probably out for 2 or 3 hours mucking around, getting a fire going, sitting on the edge of the river, a couple of cold beers. Fantastic entertainment. Someone always pulls out a guitar at the back of the ute and sings badly, but the rest of us sing along badly with him, so it works out good. Yeah, it's a bit rabbiting, mate. The dumb rabbits, let's be honest. You can walk around in the night and just stand above one. We used to kill hundreds of them because they were just invasive, just terrible. They got so bad in certain parts of my old town they were collapsing buildings because of the burrows they're building underneath the foundations. So a bit of a purge. That was before myxomatosis days. But there's not as many rabbits as there used to be. In the eastern states there's still a lot of rabbits, but not over here.
What's a tuna cooter pie?
I know what a cutie pie is in Sri Lanka.
What's the tuna cooter pie? Because Alabella said, obviously talking to Vinny, don't talk about cooking beds because he can't even do the tuna cooter pie.
That sounds rude to me, to be honest. Dad, you know what they're talking about? I've got a feeling, Dave, it's probably something you, being so young, shouldn't be listening to.
Do you remember when they introduced mix through mosquitoes?
Yeah, they've tried
I remember that.
They've tried all sorts of things, Vinny.
What is it? A tuna cooter pie?
It sounds like it's below the waist
to
me.
Something Vinny cooks.
Well, I know Vinny wouldn't be cooking what they cook in Sri Lanka called cutie pie, which is the unborn embryo of a goat.
Hey, Shauna.
Yeah, I'm not making that up. Cutie pie.
As you said, cutie,
Morning, Shauna.
Came in the room.
It must have been instinct on Shauna's behalf.
Yep. Well, I'll be waiting for this video now because I want to know what it is.
Yeah, I don't think cuda. I think we're talking about not a cuda as in a cuda, but a cuda.
No, it said cuda, C-double-O-T.
I know the inference. All right, it's got something to do with a woman's flappy bits.
What?
You got it now? The flappy bits. You know what I'm talking about?
Stop it.
It's good having a laugh. Let's be honest. It's the secret of life, and we do every day. We have a laugh, usually at my expense. But having a laugh is still good. Joke, muck around. Even my grandkids, we always joke, carry on like a pork chop. And why not? Bacon rasher flappy bits. Sounds like a burger from McDonald's. Vinny, you could be onto something here. Order 5 flappy bacon burger bits. Do you need an upgrade to a large cooter? Flappy bits. The only flappy bits down YouTube which worry me is the particle of brain matter that some people are lacking. We have a saying in Australia, there's a few sheep missing in the top paddock.
Yep.
On the bottom of YouTube, there's some that haven't even got paddocks. Forget about the sheep. They're long gone.
Only reason Alabella came to YouTube.
It's good, mate. Kangaroo's good.
Slow cooker, yeah.
Vinny, you know what macerate is. Get your roux, get your chunky roux, you know, cut it up like cube steak. Mix in finely chopped garlic, ginger, big wad of curry powder, all right? And what you do is you get your hand in the bowl and it all becomes a bit gooey and geeky. And then you press it down and put some glad wrap over the top. Leave it in the fridge for a whole day. Then whack that in the slow cooker with whatever you like, veggies, whatever. Just melts off, and what that maceration does, it takes a bit of, and roux is a bit gamey, but not too bad. Takes all that away. You would think you'd be eating beef, but macerate it. In other words, spices, herbs, garlic, ginger, glad wrap over the top, whack it in the fridge, forget about it for 24 hours or longer, doesn't matter. And then you put that in the slow cooker with whatever you like, bit of beef stock, chicken stock, potatoes, carrots. Yeah, mouth watering just to think of it. But roux meat is cheap if you shoot it yourself. It's bloody expensive if you go and buy it. I'm not kidding you, it's really expensive.
Yeah, I don't know why that
But I think a bullet still only costs 35 cents.
But
so.
explain to me, why is roux meat so expensive when we've got 60 billion of the damn things?
It's the process that you pay for. your process of catching it, making sure that it meets the A grade standard,
And it's clean. Yeah.
make sure it's passed, goes to a supermarket, chopped up. Speaking of laughter, do you know what time it is, Seas? Time for the leg thing. Oh,
And he's going to do a video
here
for
we
you,
go.
Ella. I've told him he's got to do a video
Hello.
for you. You've
How
got
are you? Oh, just going to stretch me. Oh, that's better. Oh, jeez. I'd let one go there. Knees up, mother brown, knees up, mother brown, knees up, knees up, mother brown. Hey!
Oh God, Vinny put room meat in the microwave.
Bad move, Vinny. Goes like rubber.
And the smell.
Oh, check out my knees, they're getting old.
When I used to cook the
I'm just going to do, one moment, I'm going to do a Sharon Stone moment. Woo!
No, you gotta go.
Bad boy seeds. Oh dear.
Yeah, when I used to cook the room meat up for my kelpie, it stunk the house out, so I ended up doing it outside.
And we always used to cook outside. See, what it is with roos, people don't let it hang long enough. It's like any beast. I mean, if you buy beef from a supermarket and the beast has been cut up 2 days after it's been killed, it's all bloody.
You hung like a Ken doll.
Oh, thanks very much. Did you notice? But yeah, no, you've got to hang your meat. Look, in the old days, I used to go and help kill beef. We'd usually do a beef, half a dozen sheep, and if there's any stray goats around, they got done as well. Put them in a Blake's cooler, and we wouldn't touch the cut. We'd cut them in half, okay? Cut them in half and hang it halves. But you wouldn't touch and cut up any of it for 10 days. You ever cook bacon in a microwave? No. That's the wrong way to do it, Vinny. Bacon's natural environment is a fry pan, Vinny. David Attenborough taught you nothing. And the bacon walked through the forest, fell into the fry pan. Microwaves are only good for reheating. Yeah, it's got to be. I always used to work on 10 days. And here's another tip. You buy a steak, say, from the supermarket. It's in that wrap, whatever. Good way to get a really good steak is to get a plate with a little metal rack, with slides across it. Whack your steak on there. Put it in the fridge for day 1. Take it out, turn it over, put it in the fridge for day 2. About 4 days pass and it looks a bit leathery. Okay? It's all drying out. That's perfect. Absolute perfect. Take that out of the fridge, let it come to room temperature for about an hour. Salt and pepper either side, like I did that steak. You're making an aged beef process by doing that. You're airing. Because a lot of meat is cut and killed and eaten within 2 days in supermarkets. That's crap. I can tell by the grain of meat whether it's had time to relax or not. Just by looking at it. So I can tell. I'm sure Vinny could tell as well.
You just give it a massage.
Because the grain of meat tells you not only what part of the animal it came from, it tells you how it was killed and how it was hung.
Have I ever cooked bacon in the microwave? Yes, we've done that. And we've cooked, what's the name in the microwave? Rind, to get it...
Still not good though.
No, but it worked.
I think microwaves are meant to reheat. If I want something out of the freezer and I want to eat it tomorrow, I'll go in there now and I'll take out a chunk of whatever it is, put it on a plate in the fridge. Forget about it. 12, 14 hours later, it's thawed. You don't need a microwave. Veal got drunk. Yeah, I like veal, but a lot of people don't like baby anything's getting killed. Let's be honest. It's not a great demand for baby seal meat, is there?
Bacon in the
What's
bacon
that?
in the fry pan.
Got to do. I like streaky bacon too. I don't like the big flappy bits of bacon you get in the
Oh,
supermarkets.
there's that word again.
Flappy bits. Supermarket. I like streaky bacon, which when you buy proper streaky bacon, it looks like one piece, but it's actually 2 pieces. You pull apart because it's cut like that and it opened up like that. Did you know that? Streaky bacon eaters of the world. You know when you buy streaky bacon, it's joined like that. It's actually was like that until it was opened up like that. Yes, but meat I probably eat less meat than I used to, even though you've probably seen me eat meat all week.
I once minced an entire cow and got 400.
How fucking big was that?
Wow.
Vinny, how big was this cow? You're not getting confused with a mammoth, are you?
No, he minced.
400 kilos of mince. Do you know how big that makes the cow? Add another third. So it was a 550 kilo cow.
No, that'd be right. You'd think about a kilo of mince, and then you think about a whole cow, and then you're mincing that up.
I bet it was a mammoth. Not a man moth, a mammoth.
Black bear meat, so it's not nice.
Never tried bear, I'd give it a go.
Is it not nice, Ella?
You'd have to be a monster, mate. Most dressed down at about 280, if that. So yours was it basically was a ton of cow. It was Cowzilla that Vinny got hold of.
A nice homemade beef sausage or mince. That's probably my two favourite meats. I'm not really steak.
Anything after about 2 or 3 years, mate. It's like, I don't mind mutton though, I'll be honest. I like to slow cook mutton. It's got a very distinctive flavour, mutton. I'd cooked one a couple of years ago for Tony Mullins because he was curious how I did it. But mutton is what Aussies had in the 70s and 80s common. Yeah, we got plenty of sharks here, mate. Ella, trust me, you want to come swimming here? Yeah, it's only for slow cooking. But I like the flavour of mutton. Very distinctive.
Yeah, mutton is only for slow cooking.
But there's lots of foods. Look, I mean, let's be honest. We don't eat a lot of chicken, do we, as a general rule? We eat chicken, but not as a general rule. A couple of times a month. But the world statistics now for diets is that 70% of the population of the world, affluent people, literally eat chicken 4 to 5 times a week. That staggers me. I don't mind a roast chook, don't get me wrong. But that means most people in the North Americas must have chicken at least 3 to 4 times a week.
Yeah, but it's still cheaper to go buy cooked chook than to do it yourself unless you raise the chickens.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, our neighbour, he kills his own chickens here.
No, I'm talking about the electricity. The cost of a roast chook here, although that's gone up, it's $10 now for a chooker here, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you're smart, you go and lap.
Have you seen the price of Ugg boots in England? Oh, can I? So I should take some with me. Ooh. Yeah, I know actually. I know it's expensive over there.
Actually, meat's expensive over there, apparently.
We've got to get ourselves some Ugg boots for winter too.
I like roast pork.
Well, it's funny what makes a fortune overseas. It's like my sister lives in Indonesia, and she said she could make a fortune if she sold chandeliers.
Not a great deal of need for chandeliers in the Indonesian jungle there.
No, but
What do you got there, Ted? I've got a chandelier.
It is. It's a big thing.
I love pork crackle. And you know the best thing about my house is that my wife doesn't like pork crackle.
No, I don't.
So when I get a big massive shoulder of pork crackle, I can skin the bugger after it's cooked and I can eat the whole damn thing myself. Works out well. Pork shoulder tastes far better than pork leg.
You would have liked all...
Because of how the animal moves,
I think
believe it or not.
I told the story to you before, and I got home from school one day when I was young and opened the pot, and here's Mum cooking a friggin' pig's head for that.
Gelatin.
Gelatin and brawn mixed
Brawn.
stuff. Mum loved all that.
Yeah, well, I used to do that heaps as a kid. Be a mixture of everything, from organs to whatever meat thrown into a big brawn bowl, which was like a little French casserole.
You know, it's very hard.
Slowly heated until you could slice it cold the next day.
It's very hard to buy pig's head in Sydney. Mum stopped making it because she actually
couldn't get it here.
Couldn't get them anymore.
I did see Vinny cook a roast pork on his patio.
That wasn't pork.
Last year sometime.
That was beef.
In the end, you would not think it was pork. It looked more like a victim from some sort of horror movie. But Vinny had a few tubes of red.
You've got to...
And as it was burning like at the effigy of the Wicker Man, he was saying that should add flavour. I'm thinking, yep.
You've got to do fried potatoes and add blood pudding in it, Vinny, with onion.
I grew up with that, Kathy, liver and onion. Bit of a staple. My grandmother used to cook liver like it was steak. Until I was about 8, I thought it was steak. And then someone said, no, it comes from about that part of the beast there. I thought, oh, okay. Yeah, tasted good. Liver, onions, bit of gravy. See, when I was a kid, some of you would be the same. In the UK as a kid, never saw garlic. Was not on any shop list. It wasn't on the fruit and veg stands. No garlic. It was only till about the late 70s and 80s, and I'd left the UK by then. When I came to Australia and I'm having all these meals from an Italian mate of mine, I'm thinking, geez, this is good shit. Now we eat tons of onions and tons of garlic. Why? Because they're nature's medicine. I'm not making that up. Garlic and onion are nature's gifts to us. And ginger and honey. And we have all of that, don't we? Honey, ginger, garlic. And I add chilies, because I love chilies. I'll be growing a good garden full of chilies next year. And I shall show you how to grow chilies. And tomatoes. Not a huge garden by any means.
Cinnamon. I love cinnamon. Cinnamon.
Yeah, you're talking about wild garlic, Vinny.
And sugar cinnamon on porridge. Yum.
Yeah. You're looking at wild garlic. It has a speckly flower, like about 7 stars. And it's like a little shoot that comes up. You can eat every part of a wild garlic. You can eat every part of a normal garlic, from stem to root, everything.
I thought only England had the wild garlic.
We've been selling it for a decade.
Yeah, I didn't realise that.
No, it's on riverbanks. It's usually around a place where there's a bit of clay in it, because it suffers during summer. So if it's growing in a clay base, it'll survive. Particularly under trees, that's probably where you've seen it, or down little furrows, embankments. That's where it thrives. But there are a couple of wild plants that look like wild garlic. Certainly Google before you go. Like mushrooms. I went out with my mate one day and he's saying, oh yeah, you can eat all these. And I'm thinking, I don't think you can.
Hey,
He's
Scarlett.
saying, no, you can eat all these mushrooms. I said, mate, I'm not having any of them. I went to a horticulturist who I knew in town and said, because I kept one of each, there were 4, an orange one, which is a dead giveaway, isn't it? Orange mushroom.
Oh, that's cool, Sean.
Pointy head. And there were about 3 or 4 others. And I said to my mate, don't eat them until I get back, because I'm going to talk to my mate. And the guy said, don't eat any of them. They'll kill you.
Say hello to Scarlett. Yes, Vinny.
Hello, Scarlett.
Vinny, we actually watched that video of yours the other day.
What's that?
Vinny's hemorrhoid one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, there you go. There's garlic for you, Vinny. The healing properties.
I don't like asparagus.
We get a wild asparagus in Australia, but Kathy, it's a real skinny bloody thing.
Hey.
Do you know what I mean? Because you don't cultivate it.
Hey,
if you don't cultivate it, it doesn't get any bigger.
Vivu, is that how you say it? Vivu?
Viwu.
Vivu?
I think that's the brother of Hello Gay Boy. I'm just kidding. You know the one comes on Tuckers every now and then? Tooroo, Gay Boy.
No.
Oh well, I've seen him anyway. Heard him, he's quite funny. Cortisone you can only use 2 or 3 times, Vinny. You're probably finding out that about your leg now. There's only so much cortisone you can put in the human body, unfortunately. Doo-doo-doo, gay boy. That's funny, isn't it, Shauna? Yeah, mate, I've had quite a few, several sporting injuries over the years, and I've never had cortisone. I was steered off it by a couple of mates of mine had rotor cuff damage, one guy, and hip on another. Mate, they just ended up terrible. Cortisone is a temporary fix. My thoughts on medication, in a very simple nutshell, is that unless you have to really, really take any medications, take none. You know, they weren't around 100 years ago, most of the stuff. Yes, some will help. But taking a painkiller, for starters, simply takes the message from the pain to your brain. And some people use the words, I take painkillers every day because they fix me. No, they don't. They're called a beta blocker. They simply block the message of the pain from my knee, say, to my head. I don't take any meds. You can ask my wife. The reason why I don't is that if I do and have to have something, I know that because I've never taken them, they'll probably be quite effective. Antibiotics have gone rampant around this planet to the extent that a lot of people are not protected from bacteria anymore. Anyway, I'm not going to have this rant, but if you don't have to take medication, take meditation, there you go. But if you don't have to take medication because it's an option, I think a little bit of pain reminds you that you're alive. It's okay to have a little bit of pain. Ask Vinny about pain. It's okay to have a little bit of pain. When it gets too bad, then take an option. But don't take the option just as a solution, because it ain't one.
You gotta find the problem. Find out what the problem is first.
You're dead right, Vinny. We're reaching that point. We're reaching a point where not us old folk, because we've been exposed to all those things in the past, like whooping cough and measles and diphtheria. They don't exist today. All those other bacteria that I grew up with have built my immune system up. But the antibiotics that they may give people today, younger people, may be ineffective because of all the compounds that have been involved with the overuse of them. People go, and doctors are guilty in this aspect. You hear someone saying, oh, you went to the doctor? Yeah. And you got some antibiotics? Yeah, he just prescribed them for me. If you take antibiotics, it actually destroys some of the biotics in your body. People think, oh no, it just kills the bad stuff. That's not how medications work.
Hey, Danny.
There's a payoff.
What's Kathy wrote? What is that? Some Ledium opium. What's that, Kathy?
Is she talking about opiates or
opium? I like the perfume opium.
Yeah, I think that's the key word in all that, Shauna, is perspective. Do you know the biggest problem we have in my country, and it's exactly the same in the US? Deaths from over-medication outweigh druggies dying from overdoses. Go and check the stats.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I know, Kathy. Yep.
Old people will have a box of pills they've had in the cupboard for 6 years, and it used to help them with their knee. And then they've been to a doctor and they've got a bit of heart problems, so they've got to take a pill for that. But their knee gets a bit sore, so they take that medication as well. And then they pick them up dead in the morning because the cross-contamination of medications is a poisonous mix.
That is true, Vinny. The rats have become immune to rat sack.
So if you can put up with a little bit, here's Dr. Seeds for you. If you can put up with a little bit of pain, don't take those painkillers. If a little bit of a walk helps you and loosens your muscles a bit, do the little bit of a walk.
Got a headache?
If it hurts a bit when you get back, get some ice out of the freezer and whack it on the side of your knee. And then after that, maybe it's still put a bit of heat pad on there. I'm saying use something natural before you turn to a pill. A pill is not a fix. Most of them are beta blockers. They stop the message getting to the brain that my knee hurts. But during that process, it destroys my pancreas, my liver, my kidneys, my renal system in general, my heart condition, weakens certain valves within the heart. Also, blood vessels get separated. Your medications is a payoff. Takes the pain away for now and starts destroying your body henceforth. All I'm saying is, unless you have to take medication, don't take it because it is a preventative of pain. Like you wake up in the morning and think, I better have a couple of painkillers because that helps me during the day. Really?
So, what poppies, Afghani poppies, Vinny?
She's talking about opium.
Used, yeah. His grandma was using it as a natural medicine for his mum and her siblings.
I've never seen or heard people talk about medications as much as in certain hangouts on certain YouTube channels. I'm talking Xanax, I'm talking opiates, I'm talking Eckies, I'm talking all these chemicals that is supposed to be normal for them. Seeds, you can go and watch a vid I put up called Are You Dead Yet? Sounds like a good one, Kathy.
Okay. I'll watch that later.
I mean, on this planet right now, we have a war on drugs, but it's not what you think. It's opiates. That's where we've headed. Prescription drugs.
Yeah, no, Vinny, they do. They have an abortion plant. The Aborigines.
I had two amputations at the same time, and I took nothing. Yeah. Look, I mean, for me, I actually can handle a lot of pain. My wife can handle about that much pain.
It's strange. Yeah, I can't. I'm not very good with pain. Yet I'd rather go through childbirth again than go to a dentist.
Dentist doesn't faze me at all. Every time I've been to the dentist, I'll come out and she says, "Did he hurt you?" I said, "It's not a masochist clinic, it's a dentist." "No, he didn't hurt me."
No, he's a good dentist. He gives some good stuff that numbs your mouth.
But like I say, the amount of old people that die because they cross-contaminate with their medications, because old people don't throw shit out. They don't read the use-by dates, and they had this medication 10 years ago that worked for them, and because they've got that same sort of problem again, they take it, but they're now on heart tablets, they're on blood thinners, and this other medication is a trigger for a cardiac arrest. It kills more people in my country than people overdosing on illicit drugs, and I'm not making that up. No, I've never believed marijuana is a gateway drug. I would make marijuana legal everywhere. You cut the middleman out for starters. You can grow it yourself. If you get caught driving under the influence, you shall be fined. But don't make it illegal. I'd legalise all drugs. Every drug known to man. You name all the nasty ones. I'd legalise them. Because it's the criminality that causes the problem. You still get sent to jail if you drive under the influence of drugs and you kill someone. You still go to jail. That won't change. But if you take away the criminality of the drug, which is the major issue, we have cartels, middlemen, people on the street corners, people being forced to steal tellies to go and buy a little ounce of marijuana. It's the criminality of the drug that is the problem, not the drug. I know you get all these advocates say, "Oh, you're talking shit, Seeds, have you seen it?
Yeah,
It killed
see.
my son." I'm thinking, yeah, it would have killed him whether it was legal or not.
Well,
It's not as if people are going to take more drugs because it's legal. They just will not be criminalised for taking or having possession of drugs.
you got to be careful, Vinny, with Voltaren or any anti-inflammatory or whatever, because it is also a blood thinner, which a lot of people don't realise. And if you take that, there's other medication you can't take.
Over thousands of years, my ancestors in particular, have always drunk something, some ale, some whiskey, some moonshine of some sort. So my generations of family, whose livers have survived the process of that alcohol, have handed down to me the gift of an enzyme within my liver that helps clean out the alcohol. I'm not making that up. Aboriginals in this country die all the time from alcoholism, liver failure, Hep C, because their livers have no enzyme at all in their liver to handle sugars, alcohol, whereas Vinny's historical family tree and my historical family tree, they've been drunks for 10,000 years, but not native Aborigines. They suffer madly with diabetes, their liver failure, cirrhosis, pancreatic cancers, stomach. They can't handle the sugar. This is a natural process. And it would have been the same for the Native Americans. And I'm sure they're the same. I bet Native Americans suffer massive problems with their liver and diabetes and eyesight. So it's not so much an issue about the product, it's an issue about the heritage. You know, Aboriginals didn't drink alcohol. They did not have sugar at all. And look what sugar does to us. And we're used to having sugar for thousands of years.
Well, natural anti-inflammatory, Vinny, is turmeric.
Yep, turmeric, ginger, garlic.
is a natural anti-inflammatory.
There are plenty of natural remedies. People are too lazy. They'll go to the chemist and say, what do those pills do? Oh, it cuts out the pain in your knee. I'll have 2 bottles of them. They just want to fix. We're all guilty of that. Oh, it hurts. I just want it fixed. Give me that pill. Oh, stop the pain. I'll keep taking those one. Another one. No more pain. No more pain. 3 years later. What's wrong? Oh, your liver's fucked. Oh, why? Because you took those white pills. Oh, but I couldn't feel the pain in my knee. Yeah, but it killed your liver. Oh, so how have I got to live? Well, your knee will outlive you, son. Your knee will be around for years. You will be gone because of the medications you've been taking. Medications are killing our generation. My generation. You know, the 45 to the 65-year-olds.
I don't know.
They are dying in their hundreds from cross-contamination of medications.
Do you remember Rawleys? I mean, they still sell Rawleys. I don't know if you've heard of Rawleys. Anyone in the chat? It's very old. Rawleys. It's been around for about 100 years. A lot of it's natural, but they used to have a cough medicine that was for man and beast. And Mum used to buy it. And if we had a cough, we had it. And if our horse had a cough, the horse got the same medicine.
Whether it liked it or not. But like I say, Vinny's a classic example of someone who's never going to be right. When you get something like that happen, blood doesn't flow properly, you can't walk straight, you suffer, I imagine you suffer from a few varicose veins from upper part injury of that as well. In other words, he's likely to have all sorts of issues. But if he can maintain a level of life that a little bit of pain that reminds him he's alive each day, he gets that, he can live with it, but doesn't turn to the medications to kill the pain, because the medications will do more than kill the pain. I use udder cream for hand lotion. Are you coming over to my place on the weekend, Scarlett? Bring your udder with you. Pain reminds me, I suffer. I have certain issues. And it reminds me I'm alive. I truly mean that. And there are days where I will be walking, give you an example, in the supermarket, and I'll just go, bleh.
Yeah, I know what Scarlett's talking about. Yeah. This stuff, I used to sell Rawleys, and I love this, and the cream. There was a cream for like dry skin, or an antiseptic cream for cuts and sores, and again it was for man and beast. That was written on the tin. I've got original tins.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'll scare them all. See, look, got me unicorn corn ears on. Yeah, it's called Rawleys.
It's actually getting hotter.
It's still sold here in Australia. Well, I don't know what you believe in, Vinny, but I'll give you some Reiki. I'll send you some healing. That's natural. So what's this brand called, Scarlett? Because I haven't heard of that one. I wonder if it's the same stuff. A mate of mine is a sales rep for GlaxoSmithKline. Do you know the more meds he sells, he gets overseas bonuses? Yeah, well, that's what Vinny just wrote that, yeah.
I'll just tell you a secret, Vinny. You know, doctors, when these pharmaceutical company reps come round, they say to the doctors, if you can push through a heap of this stuff, the blue stuff with the green pills in it, we'll send you a trip to Las Vegas for the two, you and your missus, free.
Bag.
But you've got to sell X amount. Deal? Yeah, good deal.
It's called Bag Balm. Okay. I will look into that. Well, animals are naturally, if a dog or a cat's sick, or any animal, they go eat grass, they spew up and they feel fine. So next time you feel sick, go out in the yard and eat the grass.
But my generation is guilty of taking the easy fix.
Green tin. Yeah,
And it's cutting your life down by decades.
this Rawleys came in a gold tin, was the salve for dry skin and whatever. And I think it was a blue tin for the antiseptic cream. Yes, there's a lot you can learn from nature, actually.
We're all going to fall off the perch, and none of us know when or how. But in general, if you can take less medications, try and push through the pain or find alternatives to deal with it, your body will thank you in years to come.
Did you know the heroin that GlaxoSmith uses comes from Tassie? Apparently the best. No, I didn't know that.
I'll give you a little tip about heroin. It's the cleanest drug, illicit drug on the market. People are going, what? It's in and out of your system within 24 hours. No residual effect, no residual compound. You couldn't trace it. You could take a blood sample after 24 hours and you'd find no heroin. You take marijuana and 2.5 months later, I can find it in your system. So heroin is one of the cleanest drugs for your body. Is it any good for you? The answer is no. It can kill you. But a lot of people, like I say, that's why I would legalise every known drug to man. For one main reason, it's the criminality that causes our society a nightmare. In prison, 75% of people in Australian prisons are in there for drug offences. I mean, really? That means all the people that haven't got caught, who have the same problem, are not in prison. So what is the criminality? Is it the law? The answer is yes, the law states you will go to prison. Or is it the drug? If we forget about the criminality and make it decriminalised and deal with the drug, you don't have to deal with both problems. Oh, you can get pure heroin still. Depends where you go, I suppose. You get anything. You got this, Shauna? You can get a piece of the moon. But I don't mind people taking drugs as long as you're in their own home, not affecting anyone else, not causing grief within their own area. And when they do drive, that drug has come out of their system. That's fine by me. But to make it a criminal offence to take the drug, and you go to prison, which costs, in my country, $100,000 a year, to look after one person in prison who got caught with X amount of drugs, it's stupid. You're not dealing with the drug issue at all, are you? You're dealing with the criminality. That's what I'm trying to explain. It's the criminality that costs us so much. Prisons, rehabilitation, which doesn't work, by the way. I used to deliver programs to drug and sex offenders. I can tell you, if you asked someone who takes drugs, why do they take drugs? The honest answer, it feels good. Yeah, like having a couple of bourbons. Makes you feel good. So that's why people take drugs. It gives them a high, a relief. Why does Vinny go and hit the slops every now and then? Because it makes him feel good. But they don't send Vinny to jail for going to the casino, getting pissed and not knowing what time he got home, and then waking up in the morning. He doesn't wake up in jail. But you get the same person taking illicit substance, get caught by the police, they go to jail. Then it costs Vinny and me and every other Australian $100,000 a year to look after that person who's not a bad person. Bit of a dick, maybe. But it's costing us $100,000 a year to keep him in prison. For when he gets out, the first thing he's going to do is go around the corner shop, see his mate and have some drugs. So what is the problem here? It's the criminality. Let's deal with the problem of drugs. And let's say to everybody, take whatever you like. Just don't drive, don't fly an aeroplane, would be good. And don't commit an offence, because if you still commit the offence, you still go to jail.
Portugal decriminalised all illicit drugs and drug demand dropped dramatically.
It would fall. Because, 90% of the drugs in this country, guys, you all know the story in Australia, is that you don't see many unless you go to a music festival or an event where some 30 to 40 different dealers are running around the park selling blue pills that no one knows what's in them for $100. And kids go, yeah, I'll try that. We've been burying kids in this country all year from these so-called pressed nuggets called party drugs. You have a good day, Danny. But if Vinny wanted to grow 6 plants and dry his own marijuana, smoke his own marijuana, and it helped him, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with a natural substance that gives you pain relief? I'll give you a great example. We've got our daughter-in-law's mother who suffers seizures and has done for many years, and she's now on a dose of liquid THC. It's legal in this country, and by the reports that I've done a bit of research on, within 2 years, recreational smoking and growing of marijuana will be legal.
The daughter's mother, $400 a month for this.
Little bottle. She's got a
Little
little bottle that she puts on the back of her tongue. Little. Look, Vinny, just grow it now. There's not a policeman that you would know would say, Vinny, what are you doing growing that shit? You say, well, it helps me leg.
You've just put it all over YouTube now, so you
But
can't.
Vinny knows what I'm saying now. I mean, any cop in his right mind go, well, does it work? And you go, it actually is working. So, am I going to arrest Vinny for growing a few plants and smoking marijuana? No.
Yeah,
Am I going to arrest a kid who's selling blue pills at a rave party? Absolutely, because we're burying the kids that he feeds with these pills.
That's why she takes it, Ella, because she has seizures and she has narcolepsy. And the choice of that or an operation. But what's the problem? Something about the cost or the supply. She could only get so much for
She's
so
only
long.
allowed so much through the licensing. That's what Jess was
So long,
saying.
yeah.
I just read what you wrote there, Vinny. Yeah, look, seizures. You don't have to be autistic to have seizures, but it certainly doesn't help if there is neurological issues. And it's a hard life for the person that's having those seizures, but it's even a tougher life for the parents and family. It's really tough. I sympathise. One of my sons suffered seizures until he reached puberty with epilepsy, and then it stopped. Just a natural progression. And I was told at the time there is hundreds of different types of epilepsy. Mitochondrial syndrome. Yep, that's going to be tough. I don't care if I knew all of you personally and all of you were taking drugs. I'd be saying, well, I don't care as long as you don't force them on me and you don't affect my life. I'll still come around for barbecue. That's fine. The secret is the criminality that we face with the problem of illicit drugs. Now, the reason why they're illicit and why they're illegal is that pharmaceutical companies make a shitload of money out of selling you synthetic drugs. Imagine if all you did was take a couple of smokes of marijuana a day and it made your leg feel good. Or you take chemicals from Johnson & Johnson or DuPont or whoever you like, and they take the pain away, but they destroy your liver, kidney, heart, functioning blood vessels, etc. Probably not a bad idea, really. Just a couple of homegrown plants. The point that's not lost on me is that the big issue with drugs is not the drugs. Drugs are not the issue. It's the criminality, which costs us a fortune, absolute fortune, through the imposition of fines, court proceedings, prison sentences, rehabilitation services, blah, 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 blah. When that guy or woman is not really a bad person, and when you let them out of jail, even with all the rehab, first thing they'll do, go and see their mate, take a bit of drugs.
That's right. You can help some people, but you can't help everybody. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it. It doesn't matter what it is.
There are a few countries like Turkey, I think Sweden, that have gone down the track and said, okay, there is no criminality with drugs. Only the offences you commit by under the influence, like alcohol. So if you're under the influence of drugs, commit an offence, yep, you go to jail. But you won't go to jail charged with a drug offence.
Yeah,
You'll go to jail charged with an offence, be whatever it is. So that's the bit that I hope the world turns to and says, yeah, let's legalise everything. You can suck gonads from cane toads. It's legal. Get you high as a kite. But you don't affect anyone else. Am I going to send this person to jail? No. Probably clean up your hygiene a bit. Don't suck on dirty old gonads from a cane toad. Smoke marijuana. So I'm not advocating anyone to take marijuana. Don't get me wrong. But if it helps you and you don't cause any problems for anyone else, what is the problem? That's the bit I don't get. What is the problem? And there's many other natural processes other than THC that can help the human body, nervous system, pain relief. There are many of them. I'm not going to tell you what they are because you'll probably say, this guy's trading in illicit drugs. But there are. If you want to Google them, there are many remedies, natural. And the fact that people have been smoking some form or another, opiates were rampant in the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th century. You used to go to opium dens. Yes. Where you going, Vinny? "Oh, I'm going down the opium den Friday night. Going to catch up with a couple of geishas and have a little bit of opium. Makes me feel good." So it's not the drug that's the problem. That's my point. It's the criminality that's tied to it. That is the problem. But do you think the pharmaceutical companies would want you to have free drugs that you could grow yourself? Think about that for a moment.
Yeah,
Big picture.
That's what Shauna said further back. It's quite a nice money-making
Oh, yeah.
market, making it illegal.
Well, Scarlett, whether you believed in God or not, and that's up to each and every one of us individually to have that belief, it's more important to realise that humanity, take religion aside, take the criminality aside, and look at humans. We are generally a pretty good bunch of people. There are some dicks amongst us, only a small percentage, but there are there. But most of us are good people. And if we all stood in a court, in a hall, and said, should we legalise marijuana? And there might be a few objections, but if I said, why not just let them have it? And let's try it for 5 years. Let's go to the US and make it legal for all the drugs. Australia legal for all the drugs. Let's try it for 5 years and let the statistics speak for themselves. Because making it illegal as it is now does not work. If we make it legal for 5 years and it still doesn't work, we'll go back to the old system. But if we don't change, well, jails are going to be completely full of people who just take drugs.
Who shouldn't be there, yeah.
That could probably be functioning members of the community that don't cost you and I $100,000 a year to keep them in a prison. Everything would be a bit cheaper, particularly drugs. So I would encourage anyone who wanted to smoke marijuana at the moment in Australia, go for it. Grow some plants, whatever. You're only going to get a slap on the wrist. But if you dare grow tobacco in Australia, I'm sentencing you for 20 years.
There's the finger.
Believe me, I'm not making that up. It's a higher criminal offence in Australia to grow your own tobacco than it is to grow a field of poppies or marijuana. Why? Legislation prevents you from doing so because the tobacco companies would miss out and the government wouldn't get their tax. See where this is going? Government tax. A packet of cigarettes in Australia of 50 cigarettes is well over $50, $1 a cigarette. The tobacco company makes 7 cents out of that cigarette. And the government makes 93 cents out of every cigarette. Why the hell would the government give up on a revenue that you're providing for them by allowing you to grow your own tobacco? You're going to jail, son. How dare you grow tobacco? Whilst you're in prison, you can grow a few marijuana plants. We don't worry about that. If you grow tobacco, the guillotine's next for you. You think I'm joking, don't you? I'm not.
Yeah, actually, when Dad passed, before he passed, he said he wanted a cardboard coffin. I was just reading Scarlett's comment. Yeah, Dad wanted a cardboard coffin. He said to us, don't spend money on these expensive things because I'm only getting cremated anyway. And do you know what? It was more expensive to have a cardboard coffin than a normal coffin. And I thought, because it's all this new thing and it's special, made biodegradable, whatever, because some people have chosen to, they've donated themselves to those body farms. Yeah, cadavers to the body farms. And some get put in these biodegradable coffins to see what happens, the process of decay, whatever. Yeah, it was more expensive by thousands of dollars to have a cardboard coffin than a normal coffin.
I've got a great idea for a funeral service myself. In Australia, we have loads of gas and oil fields, and there's always leftover, and they're normally about 2.5 feet wide pipes, about 60 foot long. I want to have a cemetery where it's the Smith and the Johns and the Thomases. What it is, it's 60 foot deep at first. What we do is put a bit of lime and compost down the bottom. And then we just get whoever it is, Mr. Smith, the first Mr. Smith, and on the side of the pipe score you can engrave all the names. What we do is just, and then we put these big wide plugs about 2 foot deep, and they're lowered down over the top. A bit more compost, bit of lime, no smell. Then when the next family member dies, it's like a reverse family tree. Can you see the benefits? Everyone's together in the one pipe with the names written on it. John Smith died 1822. John Smith's brother, Ian, died in 1843. Like a totem pole. That's right, Scarlett. And you're dead, so it's not like, oh, it's going to hurt on the way down. No. Down you go, plugged, engraved on the pipe. You could have a pipe about 6 feet out the ground. It sounds, people might say, oh, that's really cruel. They're dead. It doesn't matter. Plus you've got a family reverse tree. All right, from the top is the guy that died in 1822. I'm the last entry in 2020. There we go. Do people see a problem with that? Imagine how many family members you could get down that 60-foot pipe. I reckon after decomposition, I reckon about 200 of you. 200. You never have to pay for another plot. You can be cremated as well. Like some people, I don't want to be buried alive when I die. I'm thinking, you're dead. You don't get buried alive. But I want to be cremated. Okay, we make a special box and we chuck it down the chute. Makes no difference. You'll be cremated or bungee jumped. We could call it the bungee jump exit.
I want to be cremated.
And I'd only charge like a couple $100. $200 for a funeral. And as someone's going down the chute, I'm not dead yet. You will be when you're at the bottom, mate. But can you see the space, the saving? And you'd have all these little towers. Johnson family, Smith family, the Boyd family. That's a very shallow trench, the Boyd family. No one dies on the Boyd. They live forever, even when they die.
Yes, I have, V.
They come back.
I have seen that, V. The
Does,
cemetery where they tree pods, yeah. It's like they encourage people to donate themselves too.
but I mean, that pipe system that I'm talking about, big 2-foot pipe, down you go. Do people think that I'm cruel by suggesting that at all? I think it'd be great. Very economical. You'd have all these engraved names on there, very clear to read. And I'm thinking, brilliant. Use of reused material, pipe, gas lines. They don't use them after a set period. There's a stress level within the pipe, apparently. So they get used. And you've got the cemetery full of like tubular bells. Can you imagine it? On any given night, if you have different heights, you go and tap the top. Doo, 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 doo. But I think it's a great resource. Use materials that are going to be thrown away. And you have a family totem pole tree in reverse. The first name is the first person that gets, and then right down the bottom, as more people get interned in bodily form or in cremated form, it doesn't matter. But you're all together. That, for me, makes sense. Any objections?
You say hello to Awesome?
I didn't see Awesome. Hello, Awesome.
Oh my God, I'll slap you for that.
I can't see a lot of
No, I know you can't
the
see
writing.
the
It comes up and it disappears.
Yeah.
And if two people talk at the same time, well, disappears completely. But life is supposed to be a laugh. You're supposed to have a good time. Yes, that's why I mentioned it, Scarlet, Tubular Bells. Quite popular, wasn't it, when we were kids? Anyway, I think we will go... Oh, Awesome's here now, so we'll leave, eh?
No.
You say hello for a second.
I got my ears on again, Awesome. I put my ears on to show Johnny P earlier. Yeah, when Seeds looks at his phone, the chat goes too quick and he can't read it. So I have to read it for him. Oh, the wind's just picking up now. So how's your... You just get up, Awesome? Good morning there, yeah? I always get confused with all the time differences. It is nearly 11 p.m. here. I bet you like John McCulloch Cullen, and I can't pronounce that name, but I have heard it. Yes, he does, Scarlett.
What? Am I reading?
Scarlett's post.
I bet you like John McLaughlin and I can't read it. It's too small for me.
Well, I can't make the writing bigger.
Yeah, sorry. I did see orchestra there.
Yeah. So what's the plan for today, Awesome? What are you doing? Making soup?
I can just imagine she's got a headband on, leotards, and she's dancing to the morning exercises of Jane Fonda.
Are you taking a break? It's 10 a.m. in Texas. That's where V is. It's 11 p.m. here. Oh, the wind's just picked up too.
We get these downbursts.
Yeah. So I should get Seeds to cook your breakfast, Awesome.
What do you want? What do you want, love? Bacon,
She's
eggs?
making soup,
Hash.
doing yard work, and getting rid of stuff. Oh, you're having a garage sale?
Make
Or
sure
a
you do,
yard sale, whatever.
do a video of the soup. Awesome.
11 a.m. in New England.
Is that Connecticut?
New England, I don't know. Scarlet. Yeah, it's just become windy here, actually. Always late evening. What's the temperature?
Yeah, it's still quite warm for this time of night.
Is that reverse? Oh no, it reads the right way. That's Fahrenheit.
It is 70, I think.
79. I'll put it on to Celsius.
Yeah, so
26.
there are nighttime temperatures.
Oh, it's going on line eBay. I love garage sales, yard sales, second-hand shops, salvage yards.
We actually picked up a little backpack to take with us from a garage sale for $10. It was made in Colombia. Very high quality, isn't it?
And yes, Connecticut.
I was right with Connecticut.
Yeah.
5 points for Mr. Seeds. Come on down.
Oh, did you know this? You know Abraham Lincoln. You know that photo of him standing, you know, where he's standing like this, his arm, whatever. Dust going on my phone. That photo, I can't think of the guy's name, John something. Do you know that's not really Abraham Lincoln's real photo? That photo, back when that was taken in the whatever 1900s, was photoshopped back in the day. It actually is John, hang on, I can tell you. As long as I don't lose, hang on.
McKinley, are you thinking of?
No, I'll tell you whose
You don't
body.
know a politician at the time? Or?
John Calhoun. Calhoun, is that how you
Calhoun.
say it? Well,
Bit
you
rough.
go online and type in something about Abraham Lincoln fake photo or something, or real photo. Interesting fact. I just thought. Oh, hey Sean. Like me ears, Sean?
Sean? Or scene?
Sean the Brit.
I know, I'm waiting for you to say scene.
I used to say scene. Shut up. Did you hear that, Sean? I used to say your name
Morning,
wrong.
Sean.
I used to say scene. That's it. Awesome. That's it.
What?
Awesome typed in the name. That's actually a photo of him. And what they did was cut his head off and they put Abraham Lincoln's head on that picture and then fixed the lighting up on it. Yeah. You know, yeah, because I don't know, I was talking to someone about when you're editing photos, you know, some people say it's cheating, it's this, that, because of how people edit it to the extreme that it's not. Can you really call it a natural photo? Because people layer photos to get the best effect or whatever, and yeah, and that came up about ever how long ago that was. Oh, Sean. I'll call him Sheen. Scene.
It's
Scene like...
Sean.
I know it's Sean. Yeah, it is. I thought it was. It's amazing. Yeah, it was amazing. I'm just quite proud of myself for finding that info out and realising. And then when you look at the two photos side by side, you can see. It's just, yeah. Yes, a bit of interesting question is photographic art. Well, yeah, that's another whole, can be a whole discussion about editing photo art. Is it art? Is it a photograph? Yeah.
Well, I've got an easy answer for that. It is either art or advertising.
That's, some people say that, Scarlett. Some people say if you manipulate, it becomes art. And then other people say, well, you're just highlighting the best aspects of certain things.
You're advertising.
But then you've got to think an artist does layers to get a certain effect for you to appreciate that, especially most of the paintings you look from a distance to actually... I'm having a quite in-depth conversation with
starting to sound like a Sunday morning show that no one watches.
with my unicorn ears on. You know, how serious are you taking me? No, seriously. You've got to appreciate someone.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Compass, Sunday morning's boring show that no one watches, but it's been broadcast live on YouTube.
God, shut up. Kathy says Abe Lincoln is a direct DNA relative on mum's side. I'm a genealogical... I can't even say that word.
A Seanological
No.
or a Scenological?
Genealogy junkie. Genealogy. I just pushed my teeth back in. Genealogy junkie, yeah. Yes, it's...
Well, I've got a famous ancestor who actually opened up Canada, but don't tell anyone.
Oh, well, if it was still... royalty was still around...
Oh,
I'm
well,
actually...
He wasn't royalty at the time.
No, I am.
Became a sir, but...
In German, I'm descended somewhere.
Yeah, I've got lords in my family.
So just bow, people. I should be
it's
wearing a
funny
crown.
All the rich people in my family have never contacted me.
Genealogy. There you go. Sean wrote it out for me so I could pronounce
Phonetically,
it.
just so you could say it.
I'm like that. I have
He'll be
to read things phonetically.
Sean will be doing the Cat in the Hat series tomorrow.
I'll read it. I'm interested in all that sort of stuff. Read up on things. And because I just got this new camera, I'm learning more. I used to have a fancy camera years ago, but I'm talking many moons ago. Forgot how to use the, the old wine, whatever. Yeah, and then you type in about your camera on YouTube, and of course all this other stuff comes up, and that's where I thought, well, isn't that interesting about whether people think editing photos is cheating? Sometimes I like to see the real thing, the natural, what you actually took, because you're taking what your eye is seeing, but then sometimes the camera will pick up something you miss. I'm quite clever. Oh dear. I love genealogy. I still can't say it.
Is that where you get some like Levi's and stuff?
And Kathy says,
Genealogy?
yeah, irony is on Dad's side, Obama is me and his mum, Num, have the same maiden name. Oh, Mum have the same maiden name. According to my great uncle, this is awesome, Ernie, I am a direct descendant from kings.
Well, do you know that
Shut up, Sean.
reverse the genealogy? We're all related. Every one of us has to be related.
Of course.
There's no qualms in that at all.
Somewhere along the line. Scarlett's descended from English kings, queens, and France. I'm Anglo-Saxon and Norman. Yeah.
French and English.
Oh, it's, I don't know what else is in my family. As far as I know, it's all German. Oh, except for my grandmother. She was a gypsy.
Yeah, but
Full
Germania,
blood, yeah.
all the different races. England's part of the Anglo-Saxons, and
Sean's descended from the original 6 Celtic clans of Britain.
oh yeah, I mean the name Sean gives it away. He's either Scottish or Welsh.
So you're a bit of a Heinz variety, as we say in Australia. You're a bit of a mixed breed there, Sean. We call that a Heinz variety.
No, Sean's a West Country name, like historical.
There was even a King Sean at one stage
Well,
in one of the
what's the story with you, with your clan name or whatever it is you said, your clan,
Well, it
your
goes,
Hud, your name?
yeah, it goes way back. I mean,
Hud, son of Hud.
we are mentioned in the Doomsday Book, which everyone knows about the Norman
Yeah, that's
invasion.
it. Awesome. Yeah.
And not for the right reasons. A lot of the names of my family were in that book because they got executed because they were fighting the French.
But the French were very meticulous.
They'd write down anyone they killed.
Awesome says she's a Heinz variety. Heinz 57.
Nothing wrong with that. Good tin of baked beans is good for you.
1052.
1066. Who's talking 1052?
Scarlet.
You're about 14 years too early for the Doomsday Book.
The Doomsday Book, yeah.
Oh, you might have had another Doomsday Book, Scarlet. I'm not questioning you at all.
Huh?
All the Doomsday Book was recordings. That's all it was.
Oh, yeah,
of
yeah,
events,
yeah, yeah.
people, and taxes. If you're in the book now, you've got to pay tax. My grandfather, at one stage in the mid-18th century, my great-grandfather, was a footman for a carriage. You were given certain roles. He would clean out the kitchen wastes and provide the coal and also look after the horses. But his main job was putting down the stool for people to get in the carriage, hence the name footman.
Yep, that's, well, they used to, your surname used to be your profession.
That's generalising, but I mean you get
I'm
things
going-
like carpenter,
Yeah.
obviously, and you get wood, which would be obviously to do. No, seriously, I don't mean the dirty wood. I mean the real wood. We're talking hardwood.
I know, but you
Texas
just,
tea hardwood.
I know, you just think about it, it sounds funny though, but I'm talking way back, whatever. The people's surname reflected their
Well,
occupation.
Smith comes from blacksmith.
Was, Scarlett said 1052, the Battle of the Hastings.
Yeah.
Was 1052.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's where the king died. And
Now, I'll put you back to Studio 2.
Which king?
No, 1066 was the Battle of Hastings. Oh, God, I don't know. Sean. Sean's in there.
Yeah.
1066.
Sure, I was going to say what Sean said, yeah, but King Harold copped it. Of course, Harold was the middle son. He should have never been king, Sean, if you know what I mean.
I have to take my ears off.
I love history.
Put your ears on.
I'm not going to look very serious talking about history with this son.
Well, did I?
Welcome to the history lessons of the
Can't see ya.
11th century.
Can't see ya.
One of the things that's always annoyed me about Henry VIII, let's just jump into the Tudor period. Henry VIII became the head of a new church because he wanted to bang another girl. History lesson over. It's true. The whole world turned on its head. The Reformation, the raping and pillaging of monasteries and taking all the goods and lands was just another bonus, let's be honest. But Henry VIII created the Church of England based on the fact he was now the head of state and church, and through doing so did not need the pontiff to annul his marriage. So he could bang another woman and then chop the head off the other one. He's king of state and church.
Yeah, he wanted to marry her, yeah.
But there's very little that was found of the Reformation. There are certain items in books that were indeed saved by the monks. Very few, though. Very few in comparison to what some of the acclaimed libraries. The loss to England in regards to the historical information was terrible. All because Henry VIII wanted to bang another chick. I'll become king of state and church. Crazy, isn't it? When you think about it. There was only really one church. But because he wanted to bang another chick, I'm going to create a church. What if I could do that? Get your head cut off, become the Church of Australia.
Can you see why I wanted trading for chocolates? Awesome.
History is far more interesting than fiction. It really is quite remarkable. History has the things you wouldn't believe possible made possible. I mean, in my country at the moment, believe me, the third most powerful Catholic member of the church, Mr. Pell, is in prison and sentenced to 6 years for historical sex offences, along with many other clergy, not just the Catholics. So I've never believed in organised religion, as I've never believed in organised crime. What is the difference between the two? Not much. They both take money. They also create rules, and they're deceptive, misleading, and evil. There's nothing wrong in believing in a deity, a God. That's good. It gives you faith, strength, and hope. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the middlemen who create religions that cause most of those problems. And people say, oh, you hate the Catholic Church. No, there's no such thing as hate. I don't hate the Catholic Church. I don't hate the Church of England, Presbyterians, or anything like that. I just think it's a silly system based on men telling you what to do based on vaguely words of a Bible. So in my eyes, there's nothing wrong with you having faith in a God. It's all good. Yeah, I sense that, Sean, not only there but elsewhere. It's you go to Bob Dylan and say, times are a-changing. We've moved so far to the right politically around the globe. Mind you, in Australia, Sean, in the next couple of months, there'll be an election, just as we get back. We've had a right-wing power in power for the last 4 or 5 years. It's coming to an end. Movements against the right in politics is occurring around the globe. There's a socialistic sense. And what does that mean? Well, normally upheaval. It means rioting, it means civil unrest. Yeah, look, I mean, Sean, I'm an Aussie. I'm going to tell you how to fix Brexit. The people voted, let it stand for 5 years, have another vote. If they decide to go back, go back. Stop fucking around with political banter and nonsense. The people voted, whether it's correct or incorrect now, it should be enforced for at least 5 years. Every 5 years, the people of Britain, Ireland, Scotland and Wales should have the opportunity to either join or unjoin the Union. But I'll give you the point that makes no sense to me, Sean. There are millions of people marching in London and elsewhere in the UK demanding that Brexit be overturned or a new vote be taken. Okay, so let's say they overturn it and you now join the UE again. My point is, 20 million people next month march the street of London and the UK saying they want to leave the Union. Do you have another vote? You see my point in the futility? The people voted, whether it was right or wrong. The people of Britain voted to leave the EU, and as such, it should have done with great haste. And in 5 years' time, the Parliament should simply say, in 2026, 5th of May, if you like, or May 1, May Day, there you go, May Day. But the simple point is, because people have rethought the situation and seen the consequences of leaving the EU, it's like, well, we'll all march on the streets and we'll get the Parliament to change, and there's a law in the UK as there is in Australia. You get so many names on a piece of paper, you take them into Parliament, it has to be looked at. It's law. It's Westminster law. But the irony is,
Hey, Nicole.
like I say, let's say, oh, good morning, Nicole, I didn't see you. Irony is if it's reversed, and let's say the Parliament and people vote again today, and it's reversed, and you're back in the EU. What if 10 million people march the streets of London in a month's time and demand to leave the EU and have names on a paper? You see the futility of all of this? Both parties should stand up and simply say, okay, the people voted, we are now leaving the Union, and in 5 years' time, we will ask the people again to vote. Stop mucking around in between. Because the best thing is that if you leave it for 5 years and you realise it's a mistake and it's cost the UK detrimental in many forms, monetary, socially, then you can vote again in 5 years' time and rejoin. Maybe I should join the politics while I'm over there, Sean. I want you to drive me to Westminster, Nicole. Your Majesty, the new Prime Minister of England. Now listen, you bastards. You voted to leave the Union, so leave. 5 years from now you can vote again. No, there's preparation, because I know what's happening in the UK at the moment. All these departments are preparing to either stay or leave the Union, which is going to cost enormous amounts of money for something that may or may not happen.
If you're walking with those ears, you get nowhere. You still got them on.
Probably not. But my point is, I'm an outsider and I can see the easy answer is to say, you voted to leave, leave. 5 years from now, have another vote. If the conscience of the people is strong enough in 5 years' time, join the EU again. It's all this muddled ground in between at the moment, between Jeremy Corbyn playing games and even members of their own party fighting within. It's all nonsense. I keep hearing politicians in the UK say, my constituents do not want to leave the Union. Shut the fuck up. Britain voted to leave. We're leaving, whether it's right or wrong. I want to see a piece of paper when I get there, Nicole, with 4 million names on it, and I'll sign the bottom. And we'll say, yeah, let's leave the Union, and then in 5 years we'll have a vote whether we want to go back or not. Stop mucking about. It must be costing you people millions of pounds, because you're dealing in pounds, not euros, to try and fix a problem that's not a problem. You had a political vote from the people. Well, I know it doesn't work that way, Sean, but the practicality suggests that my way is pretty simple. You voted to leave, leave. In 5 years' time, have another vote. If it didn't work out well, and you prefer to go back to the EU, they'd welcome you back. Well, we live in a world that's based on two systems, Nicole. Greed and socialism, or capitalism, if you like, in all different forms in different countries. It's all very much the same. The rich people have all the money. The poor people don't have much money.
Geez, talk about my conversation getting deep, Sean said. Now look at your conversation.
I can't see how what's been written.
Yes, Sean's going back home soon.
Hello, too fast, but I'm ready to go home.
His time.
Sound like he wants to get back to the US by the look of that, Sean. Like I say, it's not an easy solution, but they're making it far too complicated. It's ridiculous. From the outside looking in, just the bullshit that's going on in the political system in the UK will be costing all the UK payers of tax enormous sums of money getting nowhere. It's absurd. You voted to leave, leave. That's it. After a period of time, you get to have another vote and say, oh, we buggered up, we should not have left, let's join. Don't have Twix and maybe. Twix and maybe don't work. Because the only thing that it's going to do, and I know what it's going to do, it'll end Theresa May, without doubt. It will probably end with the change of an election. You'll get Jeremy Corbyn in, and you'll wish, Nicole, that you lived in Australia.
Okay,
you'll have a socialistic state within months.
Nicole's not going to let Sean go. She's going to lock him in the closet.
Oh, right.
Take him out for hangouts and give him a laptop and a juice box.
All right, we'll definitely take some mace with us when we meet Nicole then.
Awesome, going to clean the bathroom.
Nicole, if I asked who you're going to vote for, I wouldn't do, but I've looked at the UK political system. It's a nightmare. Even the parties within themselves are self-destructive to an enormous extent. They don't need oppositions. They're oppositions within their own parties. They hate each other. You may as well become a republic in the UK, to be honest with you, because all of your members basically represent themselves and not the country. In other words, nothing gets done in the UK. It just goes round in circles. It's ridiculous. It's reached a point that politicians need to be removed because they're there for their own reasons, not the reasons for their constituents. And I think change will come in the UK like it's coming in Australia, where you'll have some form of republic. It's a far more fair and equal system and doesn't allow lobbying and backhanders to occur that much. Controversy within politics is not only strictly the UK, it's in Australia and everywhere else.
I think Milo will catch you, Sean. Don't worry if Nicole can't, Milo will get you.
Go spend some money. Go spend some of those Are you spending euros or pounds, Sean? It's just a side joke. Depends where you go in the UK, doesn't it? We've got to take both. Ireland doesn't accept the British pound.
I didn't know that.
No, it's euro.
Oh, is it? Well, we've got both.
Well, it depends on what part of Ireland you're in, of course, but crazy. You might as well just use monopoly money. Yeah. You've got $200 for getting to go. Yeah, we've actually safeguarded debit card. We don't have credit cards. We've got debit cards. There was access to our own money, but we've given specific dates that we're in specific countries. If you ever do travel overseas, it's a good thing to do. In other words, you tell your bank what day you will be in that country and what day you'll be out of that country. So if any transactions happen after you leave, they're not yours. And the bank says, no, someone's trying to diddle you. Just a little tip, if you're travelling, secure the dates that you leave your country and return to make sure that your money is safeguarded.
See, your ears are warm. You still got it on. Are you nice and warm?
No, they're very annoying actually. Yeah, Sean's done that. You know what I'm talking about. But if you do travel, make sure you safeguard your banks because you're in countries that may have skimmers and scammers. And I always take cash. In this case, I've had to take 2 currencies. 3 actually. Because I'll take some Australian dollars with us as well.
Okay,
Have a good one, Sean. Have
you,
a safe
Sean.
trip if you're going back shortly, and make sure you avoid the ties that Nicole put around your hands. Porridge, juice
She's probably
box.
got a tracker on you, Sean.
Yeah.
She's got a tracker on you.
It's going to spike your drink, mate. Just take your own water. Tighten the lid down real tight. Yeah. Political systems around the world are all corrupt. It doesn't matter where you go. But in the UK at the moment, it does look like a kindergarten and everyone's spitting their dummy and they've forgotten that the people voted to leave. It's not lost on me. Whether it was the right decision or the wrong decision, it should be followed through.
Don't take them all out shortly. Put
And
my
then,
phone on the charger.
if it was the wrong decision, you can rejoin the EU. But to ignore the people's vote is a sin. Yeah, it's probably more through frustration though, Nicole, than intent. You don't hate your country, obviously. You just hate who's running the bloody thing. And like our country, you don't have very much alternatives. In other words, I switch to the other side, fuck, they're just as bad. There are more and more, I'm sure it's happening in the UK, there are more and more independents being voted in. In other words, it's looking more like a Republican Congress in my government at the moment. Particularly in the upper house, you've got all these independents. They're not part of any political party. And what it means is that it means the people are disjointed and don't trust the political system that's there. So you will see more and more independents. Which means, I mean, it's classical in the UK as it is in Australia. A lot of mayors of big cities end up running for politics and get elected as an independent, not a member of a political group. We're done for the evening. It's now time for the weather, and we'll cross over to Mr. Smith. The weather in the UK is cloudy, it's wet, windy, and it's a real nice day. Come over and visit. People, if you have been, from me, it's a good night, and
Hang on.
from the unicorn,
Night, everybody. Have a good sleep. Bad day. Whatever.
have a good day. Everyone have a good one, and we'll catch you next time. I'm pretty sure Nicole will have a hangout today. I'm sure someone else will have a hangout. But if you don't like